From like 7 to 8:30. That's at 11.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Answer it in Simpson.
Jesse coming? My pepper. So that's good.
I thought that's what, sorry. I didn't mean that.
No, I actually remembered mine tonight.
All day. Don't forget. I'm like,
It was proud of me. I had it off.
Right, is everybody ready? Chris, you ready?
it's always ready.
Chris is ready, we're
It's
ready.
always ready.
Everybody ready? All right. I'm just waiting for Nicole to tell me you're good. All right, so good evening. I'd like to call the Centerton City Council meeting to order for May 13th, 2025. Would everyone in attendance please rise with me and join me in the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
For which it
stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible.
liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Josh, would you lead us in prayer?
Lord, we thank you for everything that you do for us. We thank you that we get to live in this nation. We get to be a part of seeing the ins and outs of city happenings. And I just pray that you would help us lead, help us make decisions that would benefit this community. We love you and we thank you. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Hey, Nicole, will you do a roll call, please?
Miles,
Here.
Joshua Hagan,
Here.
Josie Reed,
Here.
Wendy Henson,
Here.
Justin Carter, Cliff Thompson.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Our first order of business is accepting the city council meeting minutes from April 8th and April 23rd, 2025. They've been in your Dropbox for a little bit and there has been no changes. We'll make a motion to adopt those minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Josh has made the motion. We have a second. Second by Cliff. All in favor?
Hi.
Anyone opposed? All right, next is acknowledging receipt of the Water and Sewer Commission meeting minutes from March 18th, Planning Commission meeting from April 1st and April 15th, and the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board from March 3rd. Someone like to acknowledge the receipt of those.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Anyone opposed? All right, next is our financial report. And this is in your Dropbox also. So right now we are about 1/3 through the year. With this report, it's about 33.3%. Revenue wise, we're about a little over 39%. Expenses, we're close, about 35%. Most of the departments are doing well. Some of the stuff now that we've seen high earlier in the year is now starting to balance out. And as the year goes on, it'll balance out. We do get a lot of bills at the first part of the year. And then also the street fund, let me get down there to it. Almost. Okay. So street fund revenue wise, we're right now at 59% revenue. And some of that is some money we got back from FEMA. We received some funds from the storm. And expenditure wise, that's he's just, just over 28%. We do have some expenditures coming, so that'll start balancing out soon. And then the court report's attached. So does anybody have any questions on the financial report? If not, would someone like to make a motion to adopt the financial report for April and also the court report, which is attached?
I'll make a motion.
And we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed? Next is department reports. And at this point, before we go into that, I want to turn it over to Josh. He has a recognition he'd like to make.
Yeah, so last week, I had someone come to my door and it was about, I think it was about 8:30 at night. To be honest with you, I thought it might have been a solicitor. And someone was about to answer and I said, no, let me go ahead and answer it. Went to it. It turned out to be a young man that he knew, and his dad came to our door and just started to tell me that his son had worked, mowed lawns and done different things to buy a scooter. And he had left the scooter out and it came up missing. So we believe someone took it. We don't really know. It's gone. And I told him, I said, hey, why don't I post it on Centerton, Arkansas Neighbors? Let's see if anybody will, find it and let it turn up. Had one person on there that said they had an old one, they'd be willing to donate, just give to him. And throughout the couple of days, we had a local business here in town that posted on there and said, hey, you know what, I'll just buy him one. And he said, if they don't find it, then just get me connected to him and I'll make sure he gets one. And this business, I wanted to acknowledge them. They said they don't need any acknowledgement. And I just told them, I said, hey, I'm in a position where I can acknowledge something good that happens in our community. And so something that could have been bad. I mean, think about it. When you work hard for something and you spend your money, you're growing up, you're being taught that lesson, and then it's gone. That hurts. And so something that hurt turned into a good thing. And this, the owner of this company, his name is Steven, and it's Brimstone and Brass. And I'll just tell you a little bit about it. They manufacture ammunition. And as a concealed carry myself, I know who I'm going to be going to for ammunition in the future, as long as you make 9mm. And not only that, he also is certified through the NRA firearms training. Make sure I'm correct on that, Stephen, right?
Pretty close, sir. Yeah, I'm an NRA certified instructor, as well as I'm a still carry instructor. Upper classes for women, and all the above. A little bit of everything, as well as being in the field, class 6. But got wear a lot of ties.
It's great. It's what?
I wear a lot of ties.
Okay. So need some training, definitely look up Brimstone and Brass and they can help you with that. I connected Danny with him today and his son Micah is back here as well. And they worked out the details on getting him a new scooter.
That's cool.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, sir.
I would also like to thank Brimstone and Brass because they are a chamber member. So thank you for being a Centerton area chamber member. We appreciate you.
All right, so, and the department head reports are in there. Anybody have any question on any of them? If not, I will open it up at this point for public comment. If you would like to address the council, you have 3 minutes to speak to the council, any concern, or not concern, but anything you want to say, anything on tonight's agenda, so on and so forth. And before you start, you just give us your name and address. We know where you live, but it's more for the minutes, but let me get the
My name
time.
is John Box and I live at 742 Apple Ridge Drive. Josh, you made a good segue to why I came up here about the solicitors. There's on our agenda tonight, the Rose firm is potentially gonna threaten a lawsuit towards the city solicitors for Urbex. And reviewing the documents that were provided for Rogers, Bella Vista, and for Bentonville, I would prefer that we look something like Rogers does and go the sun up to sundown rule instead of the 9 p.m. I don't want people knocking on my door after dark necessarily. So, and the other thing that they do is Bentonville provides provides their residents with a no soliciting sign free of charge. I think Bill said that they had done that in the past here in the city, but I think that'd be a good recommendation for us, for the concerned citizens that don't want people at their door. So that's all I really had. So thank you.
John? What else? Anyone? Okay, public comments are closed. All right, so before we start with ordinances and resolutions, would someone like to make a motion to read all ordinances and resolutions by title only and to suspend a rule required to be read on 3 separate occasions, all. Yeah, we did.
No.
Do you have some? Okay, sure. All right, yeah, all right, so we have a motion. Who made a motion? Josie. Okay, we have a second? Can we? Joe.
Second.
I heard a Cody and I had a
Oh, it
Wendy.
doesn't matter to me, whatever.
Somebody,
Hold
said-
on a second.
you got what you need, Nicole? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Can you do a roll call?
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Yes. All right, so our first ordinance is ordinance 2025-19. This is waiving bidding on a model BC 1000 XL wood chipper. And Anthony will come talk a little bit about this or answer any questions we have. He has been doing a little, and there's not a lot of people that sell these. One thing I want to point out on what he did or what happened, going to happen, I hope, is the quote for this machine was $49,000. He is getting a trade-in of 19,500. And, you know, with freight and everything, it'll bring it down to 31,313. We have a chipper now, but it's not a commercial grade chipper. And we use it quite a bit, especially during storm season. So this is a budgeted item, and I would ask if you have any questions, Anthony's here for us.
What'd you pay for the original one? 32-ish. Under 35, 32 was, it's 32-ish. Not a bad return on it.
Well, that's why we asked for the waive of bidding is because this is the highest price we can get if we went right back to the same company. And upgraded. But like the mayor said, this is the budgeted item. After the tornado season this last year, we realized that the chipper we did purchase wasn't adequate. It kept breaking down just because it couldn't handle the load that we gave it. And we weren't really overdoing it, it just couldn't handle it. So that's why we're upgrading, so we're more prepared this next go around. We had to rent one in the tornado season, just to keep up, and we ended up renting this one on purchase, and we would have done well just with that one alone.
Question, and it pertains to the second whereas there were 5,000. Why are we, like, if it's, I know we're getting a trade in, but it's gonna be 31,000 instead of 49, is that?
Because the original price is 49. That's why I brought the ordinance like it did.
As the mayor, I didn't control that.
No, it's in a. Good question. Any more questions?
It's a new chipper, is there any?
Brand new.
Like that?
Oh,
Yes, this one is a new chipper, yes, and it comes with warranties. The old one was still under warranty as well. They were fixing it. The breakdowns that we were having, except for the one that was our fault.
Counselor?
All right, ordinance number 2025-19, an ordinance waiving bidding requirements for the purchase of a model BC 1000 XL wood chipper from Vermer Mid-South Springdale, Arkansas for the Centerton Public Works Department.
I'm gonna make motion to adopt ordinance 2025-19.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second?
Again,
Second. Okay, roll call.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Josie,
yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there's one missing, that's why I didn't. This is the count.
I don't need to say it, right? He's not here.
No, Brian had like a puzzled look like.
Yeah, it just, I
No.
was waiting for, something else. No, you're doing it. Good job.
All right, so our next ordinance is ordinance 2025-20. This is a rezone. This rezone has come to planning commission, to the city council before. Probably 2 or 3 months ago, it came. And originally came as part of it R3 single family, part of it R3 multifamily. And then this little piece over here, which was R3 MF, all that was passed in the previous. With this owner and Birdie's here with the rezone too, if we have any questions. What they've come back and asked for, and none of this really changed, except they wanted to make this corner a commercial, neighborhood commercial, C3. I can see probably why they want to do that, because we got a community center coming right down the street, so. And I don't know what their plan is to, after comes, but it did come through planning commission. And it was recommended unanimously to send it to city council for approval. Any questions on this?
So the only thing, the reason it's coming forward is for the commercial
Had
chain.
to C3. Yeah, they're reducing one of these and then add C3. Yes, sir.
So the 4.65, that's the one they're reducing to single family? Is that correct?
4.65 will be the single family and MF4, multifamily, I'm sorry. Single family, yes. And then the 1.23 acres will be R3 multifamily. And then this 1 acre here, would be neighborhood commercial.
So originally, so we already rezoned the multifamily. And then
Yeah,
that's just getting not cut in half, but whatever.
yeah, it reduced some of it, yes. Any questions on this?
Mayor, just a point of clarification. I think that it was unanimous. I think when I read it, it was 5-2,
It was? Okay, sorry, I wasn't at the meeting. I thought it was unanimous.
just for clarification.
Okay. All right, 5-2. Sorry about that. I wasn't at that meeting, so sorry. I usually make them all, but. All right, 5-2. It still passed. All right.
All right, City of Centerton ordinance 2025-20, an ordinance to rezone certain lands within the Centerton city limits belonging to 12 Stone Construction Design LLC from medium-high density single-family residential and medium-high density multifamily residential, R3SF, R3MF, to medium-high density single-family residential, medium-high density multifamily residential, and neighborhood commercial, R3SF, R3MF, and C3.
I'm like make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-20.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second?
That got me.
All right. Nicole, can you do a roll call, please?
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. All right, next is ordinance 2025-21. This is accepted dedication of right of way and utility easement by Terra Rose Properties. This is the property at the northwest corner of Seba and Main. They did an administrative lot split on it. So this is just dedicating right of way and utility easements as per that track split or lot split. Any questions?
So, just to clarify, this is just so that they have an easement for each particular,
Yes.
okay.
And yeah, utility easements and
That's how I
right.
understood. I just want to clarify. Okay.
Yes, that's correct. All right,
Also straight right of way.
street right away too.
Okay.
All right, any more questions?
All right, City of Centerton ordinance number 2025-21. And ordinance accepting dedication of a right of way and utility easements by Terra Rose Properties LLC per the final plat for Caulfield Farms being located in part of the east half of the southeast 1/4 of the southwest 1/4 of section 28, township 20 north, range 31 west, city of Centerton, Benton County, Arkansas.
I'm gonna like make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-21.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, ma'am.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Josie. Yes. Wendy.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, next is ordinance 2025-22. This is accepting utility easements dedicated by Mercy Northwest Communities and also Centerton MFD. This property is located right by the Mercy Clinic. Is that correct, Lauren? Over by Mercy Clinic and Willow Crossing all back over there. So this is also this accepting the utility easements. Any questions on this one?
No, that's due to the additional buildings, correct?
Yes.
All right, City of Centerton ordinance number 2025-22, an ordinance accepting utility easements dedicated by Mercy Health Northwest Arkansas Communities and Centerton MFD LLC per replan on lots 1A1 and 2D1 of the Willow Crossing subdivision, phase 1. City of Centerton located in section 3, township 19 north, range 31 west, Benton County, Arkansas.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-22.
Somebody.
Second.
Somebody in a second. Roll call, ma'am.
Cody,
Yep.
Josh,
Yeah.
Josie,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Yes. All right, this next ordinance is ordinance 2025-23. This is just amending the 2024 budget, not the current budget, but last year's budget, we do get an opportunity to amend this. And we usually do it earlier in the year, just kind of slip by, so we want to get this done. Also, what this does though is you have all the supplemental accounts that you see on there, like the Act 833, 988. This just, puts funds with all those too, so. And we get the opportunity to do that, just once a year, so. That's all. It's just, the money's already spent. So. All right, any questions on this one?
You answered mine.
All right, ordinance number 2025-23, an ordinance amending the budget for the operation of the city of Centerton, Arkansas for the calendar year 2024, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Someone like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-23.
So moved.
Motion. Second. Roll call, ma'am.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes,
Yes. We do have an emergency clause.
All right, section 3, the city council of the city of Centerton, Arkansas and determined that the emergency is hereby found to exist and this ordinance being necessary for the preservation of public peace, health, and safety shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
Can I just ask a question on that?
Yes.
Is that, because we're doing this later than normal, that we want to get it in right away?
Money's already spent. This has been in every one of these ordinances every year, so I just been carrying it over.
The
I
emergency?
don't really know what the emergency
It
is.
essentially closes it out, so.
It closes it out.
the Books, and because otherwise we'd have to wait 90 days.
Okay.
Shannon.
So So yeah, we're just closing that out. Good question. All right, so do we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
Yes,
We have a yes.
Second.
We have a second.
You just, yes.
That was Josie. Let's have a roll call.
Yes.
Cody,
Yes.
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
You didn't say that very loud. Who was this?
I know, it's because I didn't want to be on.
All right, so next, our last ordinance is ordinance 2025-24. This is replacing our old municipal code Title 15. Replacing with the new one, which I did send to everybody about a month ago. 120,
131 pages.
133. Exact.
31.
They must have read.
31, 130, over 100.
Yeah.
And so I have Derek here. And he had put together Juliet's here with him. They both work for Garver. And they've been working diligently with the staff, all the department heads, the planning staff, everybody's worked together, everybody's collaborating, and we're ready to move this forward. So they did make a overview and a PowerPoint for us,
Oh, great.
just to, high level. And then at the end, if it's PowerPoint, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Well, I want to say in addition to that, you also had developers that were coming to the meeting and giving their input as well, just in addition to what you had said.
You ready, Mayor?
I am ready for you, sir.
Okay, let's dive into it. We can go to the next slide if you want to. So just to kind of ground this, what is Title 15, just as a refresher? You all adopted the comp plan 2040 in October of 2020. That's your long range planning document. It's a policy document, but with that, it recommends certain regulatory rules. And we have those are our titles, right? And specifically, you have Title 14, the zoning, that's where your zoning map comes into play, like the action that you just took earlier this evening. And then we want to talk more tonight about the efforts that have been made with Title 15. We've also referenced the streets and sidewalks, which comes about with development, as well as drainage, Title 16. That's where we have our floodplain and our drainage code. But Title 15, this update, it's a holistic update. A lot of coordination, ongoing coordination with multiple departments at the city. It's grounded in state code, reflects current needs of the city. A lot of guidance from the Planning Commission. And it is our tool that allows for day-to-day implementation of a lot of those goals and guidance that we have in the comp plan.
Next one. Yes, 3.
Okay, so I think this one I would just highlight here, we've referenced some image there, the cover of your comp plan, an example street section. But I would just reiterate, this provides for our procedures and requirements related to subdivision of land and development. And it provides an orderly process for these actions so that the city can see those move forward. Okay, next slide. So a few reasons why this is being updated. We want to advance the goals that you all adopted in the comp plan, allow those that the city was ready to move forward through this particular title, to bring your development standards in line with a similar realm of other communities. I think your current code is about 16 pages, just for comparison. So we're trying to bring you up to date on a number of items. The goal all along was to make it very user friendly. So you've got a table of contents that is clickable. You can easily get to the different chapters of interest to provide the city and developers more clarity on public infrastructure improvements as they work, and then to hopefully streamline the whole process. So we've got a quick just snip of the table of contents there on the left, and then an example image. So in addition to the table of contents, this is just an example image of some of the updated graphics that are in the code. This is one showing proper setback of trees from overhead utilities. This is just a snip of 1503. That's a comprehensive plat and plan requirement chart. So that helps an applicant see if they want to submit a development plan without having to look through multiple different documents. They can see it all in one chart, which is really helpful. And then this is another example of some updates with the code. We mentioned some subdivision images. So this is an image showing different street stub out options that meet fire code. So we just wanted to highlight that to mention how the code provides for block link standards, connectivity to help with your overall connectivity and access management throughout the city. And then finally, this is an example from the development section showing how there's an option for administrative review through the minor site improvement application. That's an application the city that the planning staff are already using, but we're getting it in the code so that developers can see exactly how that fits in the overall process. And just to mention here, the Planning Commission on the 6th of May, they did unanimously forward this to you all with a positive recommendation. You all may now consider adoption of the code. We do want to highlight how there was significant interdepartmental coordination. Really appreciate all of that coordination support along the way. I think it built a strong coordinated code. And then we are here along with planning staff for any questions that you might have.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I did have questions. Everybody's been so great to answer questions. Diane, Garver, all of you. One of the things that came up for me, and I would love to get clarification also just to kind of put on record the question, because of the jurisdiction piece that we talked about, can you just kind of give everyone kind of an overview of why that was left in there so that we have some transparency on that piece?
I think that's a great question. I'm gonna ask for my colleague Juliet to come up on that one. I think she has a pretty good overview on that, so thank you.
So what she's referring to is the planning area that you have right now. And the state legislature passed it's like a bill. I was gonna say an order. Passed a bill this session that eliminated those. But yeah, I talked to Ms. Henson about this. So we're working with the municipal league as planners. I'm also on the state chapter of the planning, Arkansas chapter of the Planning Commission. And we're looking at different ways to address that, right? Because it does It's gonna change the way we do things. But right now, we're recommending that people leave it in their code until we kind of hash out like what the real options are to address kind of that gap that you're gonna have. And, we're gonna be meeting next week as a group of planners, with the municipal league attorneys to start talking through that and hopefully be able to bring back, some options, you know, for the cities, on how to address it. But first of all, it doesn't go into effect until the first part of August. And, you know, we live in a high growth area, and I would say you want to keep all your controls in place, you know, that you can, until it's gone. And then also, it just worries me if we go through and just take it out of codes, that it won't be readdressed later, like looking through alternatives, you know, for the city to look at how to handle those areas. So that's why we're recommending keeping it in for now. And Mr. Rabel, you may have a question, like, I don't know, any comments on would just become inactive if it's not amended before then, but I think we're gonna have answers.
Ultimately, I think that's the case, that I mean, any provision that is not lawful would be stricken from it. But when the law actually comes into effect, we'll want to address it and probably remove those sections. But I initially was under the impression that, yeah, we ought to take it out, but after listening to you and the other things that are going on, apparently my understanding is that we may be doing interlocal agreements or whatnot, that the county doesn't really know what they've gotten themselves into yet. With
I didn't ask for it either.
some of this stuff, so things may change, and I completely support approving this as it's drafted currently.
I actually think, I'm hoping that's gonna lead to some positive coordination and discussions between cities and counties. For being super honest, the legislation that was there, like a lot of legislation that we all have to use, was not the best, you know, somebody passed at the time, you know, and everybody's been using it for years, but there was a lot of vagueness to some of it, and that I think kind of led to frustration all the way around. And to me, sometimes a lack of coordination in those areas, which are critical areas, right? Because they're the areas that are growing around cities, between the city and the counties, because, and I'm not saying specifically this city or Benton County or anything, I'm saying just generally across the state, because everybody's trying to just follow what they thought the state code was. So I do think that this is an opportunity to talk through some planning issues between cities and counties, and maybe will lead to some beneficial things on all sides. I'm sure it'll be a little bit painful at first, like all changes, but anyway. But we should have some good options, and I'm confident that we can have recommendations, you know, and talk with Mr. Rabel and your planning staff, and then we can have amendments to this ready to go. But I wouldn't hold up passing it, because you got a lot of growth, and there's a lot of kind of things that this resolves, and that we're passing tonight, or hopefully considering tonight, that I think provide a lot of clarity in the development process that's just missing from the code that you have now. And I think having clarity serves everybody better, right? It serves the planning commission better, it serves you better, and it definitely serves the developers better, right? Because they can look at it and know on the front end exactly what's required. So I think it's good.
I'll also add one more thing. The other question I asked you was, because Centerton is growing so much, and we talked about like the Title 15, and is it like fair compared to other cities and things like that? Can you kind of share what you shared with me?
Sure. Yep. So we work with lots of different cities in Northwest Arkansas. And I think that it's important to have your codes kind of all be on a similar level. You need to serve the needs of specific cities for sure. I do not think there needs to be a code. But if you have big disparities in regulation, then, I mean, quite honestly, you can end up with less desirable development, you know, in your city, because you don't have the same regulations. And so we try to be really careful, though, to make sure that we're walking that line, because you don't want to over-regulate, you know, because I think that causes other issues. But to try to kind of be in the same realm on a lot of the different issues that we go through, you know, for infrastructure requirements and things like that. to where it is pretty even with other cities and specifically cities, you know, your size. Because I do think that, you know, there's a difference in staffing levels and things like that to implement code when you're talking about, you know, city of Bentonville or in Centerton. And so we keep that in mind too on the complexities, because that's part of what we have to carry out. So I feel like we did a balanced code. I don't feel like there's anything in there that's, you know, way different, you know, as far as like the level of intensity that people are gonna have to look at when they're developing. I think it's all beneficial to the city, you know, to have those things.
And I did appreciate when she said that we as a community are growing so much that we do need to set ourselves closer to some of the bigger cities as far as the expectation for the code versus kind of still feel like we're this small town. We're not really that anymore. So I appreciated you saying that because it really makes you kind of see things from a different lens. So
Yeah.
thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
As I came up with impact fees before, the cost to, you know, the developers, going from a 16-page code to 133-page, is there any kind of projections around what the cost of building increase is gonna be behind that?
I mean, honestly, no, I mean, but really and truly, like I was saying, like, to me, there was just a lot of the topics were covered, but they were covered vaguely in a few sentences instead of, you know, 3 or 4 pages, which sounds like it's more regulation, but actually it really isn't. It's really
Finding.
clarity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not subject to kind of, you know, whatever somebody's opinion is. And, you know, and I think having that clarity again, that there's probably developers here tonight and you can ask them, but my conversations with developers are usually about, you know, they want the clarity. They want to know what they're getting into, right? This is their business. You know, they're investing money. They want that clarity so that they know what's required, so that they go to do their pro formas, you know, if it pencils out. And they also want to know, how much time it's gonna take, because time is money, right? If you're dealing in property, then the longer you have to wait to get through processes, then you're paying interest, you know, for multiple months. So I think that serves it well. I mean, I'm trying to think of something.
I mean, a lot of what I read, it felt like it was much more clarity to eliminate that open interpretation of what it could be. Just wanted to hear it firsthand.
Sorry. Good question.
I think that it really clearly solidified what our expectations are. I'm really impressed with it all, and I thank everyone that was involved in this, because I know this was a very long process, and I also recognize this was in addition to your regular jobs. So kudos to everybody that was involved in this, and thank you so much for bringing it to council, because this is something that is very important to our city as we grow. So I'll say again, you know, it just really solidified and clarified what our expectations are. Really impressed with all of it. Super excited about the landscaping, because I know there's been so many conversations about landscaping, and I think it's gonna help the developers when they come. They see the expectations, the illustrations that y'all provided, the charts that are in there makes it very clear from my perspective of what is expected. So thank you all for all the hard work that you did on this.
Y'all do have great staff, and I felt like they worked really well and collaboratively together. And as you read it, you know, it's not like, it's not a page turner.
No.
And so it's not, I mean, quite honestly, from a staff level, yeah, you're right. They had their day jobs to do, and it's not super exciting through all the technical details of things, but it is important, you know, to use infrastructure, and they did a great job. So,
Me too.
good staff.
Completely agree.
Anybody have more questions? You good? You good? Everybody good?
I would actually like to add a section 3 orally, and then we'll add it to it, but something that occurred to me, because when the law does come into effect, I think, you know, arguably, because one portion would not necessarily be lawful, the entire ordinance could be considered unlawful. So I propose we add a section 3 with regards to severability, and I think we could say the invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this ordinance shall not affect the validity or enforceability of any other provision.
And I'll get with you. We can
Okay, and we
do it together.
I just think that may,
We'll get, I'll get
that
it.
way come, was it August 1? Is it, or is it August 5th, right? So that we're not on August 6th and having a
That
complete.
was my
Right.
original question
Right.
was, is it in here? And if it's in here, why are we waiting? Why aren't we waiting until after August to just make changes? And they were like, well, because we need this in place now.
Right.
Like with it being in there, I was afraid that like it would go into effect and then we would be,
And
not in compliance or-
yeah, this is a section.
That's my
3
concern.
Right.
yeah,
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
that makes sense.
Okay, do you, so did I think that you guys probably need to,
Adopt it with that.
adopt section 3 real quick, as presented.
That's it. So somebody like to make a motion to adopt the section 3 as Brian stated.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second?
That was just on this section 3.
Section
3, then he's gonna read it by title and then we're gonna.
And it's actually in the code too. We have a severability.
Is it in there? Okay, okay.
So do we need section 3 then?
Is that?
It's not gonna hurt us to include it.
Okay,
It's,
let's do it.
it doesn't hurt to be redundant.
Let's
So-
do it.
Did we get a vote?
Well, I'm still waiting. I got a motion in a second.
What page is the severability on? I only have a look at it. It takes care of it.
It's not gonna hurt.
210, section A.
They're asking what page? 8.
Yeah, there it is, 15. Yeah, severability.
It's not gonna hurt to have it in the ordinance. Just one less argument.
right here.
Someone can make.
Just one statement here.
There it is.
Okay.
Any clause or provision.
You want me to just add that in there just like it says?
That would be fine if you want to use that, any clause or provision of this code or but you need to make it of this ordinance in the ordinance page.
I can do that.
Declared invalid or unconstitutional by the, I can't read that part.
I'll add it and send it to you, Brian, just to make sure I got it right.
Okay.
Make sure I got the commas and the periods and the capitalizations and. All right, so we're going to vote on the section 3 first.
Correct.
We had a motion and a second, correct, Nicole?
Roll call.
Me and Josie.
All right, so let's do roll call.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Are you saying we?
I'm saying redundancy is not going to hurt us. Understand, I'm in the worst case scenario business. It's in the code. It's not gonna hurt us to have it in the ordinance as well, because if for some reason someone wanted to argue later on, well, it's in the code, but what in the ordinance?
Yes.
We've got it covered. So I mean, it's not gonna do any harm to us. It just, if anything, it will protect us better. Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, City of Centerton ordinance number 2025-24, an ordinance amending Centerton Municipal Code, Title 15, subdivision and development regulations.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-24, which also includes section 3 as we voted on previously.
So moved.
No motion. I heard a second from Cody down there.
Yeah, I'm finally jumping in.
It's Cody. Hey, Cody. Hey,
Cody, was that you who wrote this?
made the motion, right? All right, roll call.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh, Josie,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Next is resolution 2025-19. This is an agreement with TriStar Contractors for sidewalk installation. This is a grant that we got several years ago from Safe Routes. And we've been working with the grantee, who is RDOT, back and forth. We got everything done, ready to move this thing forward. This is our last step. This was put out for bid. I believe it was 2 bids that we received, right?
4.
Oh, yeah, they're in there. And this was the lowest bidder. This is one that we've worked with before on other projects. And the cost is not to exceed 303,000. However, just for the record, 269,000, this will be grant funds. So we're only gonna be out just a little bit difference there. And this should start hopefully within the next 60 days. I don't want to say soon. Let's say give it 60 days and they're ready to go. And this will put sidewalks, you correct me if I'm wrong. They'll put them on Gamble Road from Seba and Gamble down to Bliss on the west side of the road. And then on the south side of Bliss from Sun Meadow all the way up to D Street. And,
We will be adding a crosswalk to Sun Meadow to connect to Gamble and then Zeba to finish the connections to Main Street. Well,
A lot of kids travel.
it's just under a mile of sidewalk.
Wow, that's crazy expensive.
it is.
Are they putting heated sidewalks in? Are they making them heated?
No,
Prices should be.
I wish, but no.
Oh, gold studs in places. No, okay, so.
The goal is to get this project completed before school starts back up. I can't promise that, it would be weather-based, but that is the projection to be done by time school starts back up.
Any questions? Counselor?
All right, resolution number 2025-19, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk as representatives of the city of Centerton, Arkansas to enter into an agreement with TriStar Contractors LLC, Salem Springs, Arkansas for Safe Routes to School Sidewalk Project in the city of Centerton.
I'm gonna make motion to adopt resolution 2025-19.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Hey, you're showing up there, man. We got a second from Cliff, all right, roll call.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Sophie,
Yes.
Wendy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I meant yes.
Get a yes from her? Okay. All right, well, Anthony's still here, our next
Stay here.
resolution.
Are they gonna make those like bicycle size or
Yeah, 5 feet wide.
You mean 10 feet?
how wide are the sidewalks gonna be?
Most of this will just be 5 feet. There are plans to expand it on Zebo. And the only reason it's done this way is so we don't lose out on the grant money. This grant is so old, we were getting pushed to finish. It started in 2014.
Plus also on Gamble Road, some of those yards out there are not that wide to begin with, so the smaller we can get in there, he got all the right of way in.
Yeah, we're looking for more grant money to expand that to be a walk bike path, part of our trail system. Eventually I want to connect to Keller and Poundview and connect to Bentonville, but that's down the road.
Nice. Like,
Yes, the one along Zebo will be added to.
So next is resolution 2025-20. This is an agreement with Hubbard Contractors for some culvert installations in the Sienna State subdivision. Do you wanna?
Just to clear, we're not done working with the contract. I just got to that today. So after talking to Rabel yesterday. Basically what this boils down to is there was some drainage installed in Sienna back before some regulations were implemented, and that's just because of age, not because of city. Part of the drainage goes underneath a home. And for us to fix it, we would have to destabilize their foundation. It's already leaking. It's already creating a sinkhole. So the safest bet, this is basically an insert that goes inside the drainage that you may have seen videos of, but they basically put a fitting inside of a pipe and blow it through. It'll push the out walls out, and create a new pipe inside the old one. So we don't have to destabilize the two homes that it's going by. Therefore saving us money because it is the city's responsibility to fix. So to save us probably a good $1 million, we do this instead. And this is the first time we're going to use it in town, so it's kind of a trial thing to see. But this is a very specialty thing. There's not too many people in this part of the country that do this type of work.
Is there any kind of warranty in case it fails?
It's already at failure. So it's either we attempt this or we're gonna have to buy that home.
Well, I thought, are you just talking about when they put these in or what's currently there?
Yeah, if they.
Oh, yeah, there's actual,
Fail.
yeah, but there's always the possibility that what's existing could already fail again. This is just an insert that goes in there to stabilize what's already there.
We're not talking about new piping like they did on 102 and.
No.
Okay.
No, this is basically, when you blow it out, I don't remember what the reaction is, but it basically creates like a PVC pipe inside the metal that's existing.
Yeah, okay, that's.
I don't want to say that there's a warranty because there's always a possibility of failure with drainage. But with their work, there's not really anything to warranty.
and it's a pretty long line. I mean, you're looking at 144 feet by 46.
Yeah, there's two separate sections we're gonna do it on.
So we're fairly certain this is gonna work?
What I understand, what I've studied and looked into, there hasn't been a failure with the actual new material. When I'm saying that there's no guarantee is I can't predict what the old pipe may do. If it further collapses, there's just too many what ifs. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's 100%. There's nothing 100% construction.
I understand that, but there's always warranty, manufactured things and things like that, and we're not getting a warranty on this and.
Well, the actual material itself that they're doing, yes, there's a warranty to it, but it's one of those things that you lay down a pipe, there's no failure to it. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to explain it because it's just it's a new technology. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but yes.
I'm just concerned that we're gonna spend the money. I'm not saying we don't do this. Just concerned we're gonna spend the money and then we're still gonna buy 2 houses.
Well, there's always a possibility of that. That's, it's when you're solving a problem, you're gonna start with the least problematic and cheapest version first and work our way up. I'm just not gonna go in, buy the homes and clear it out. I'm gonna try the smallest venue first. That works, then we successful. If it doesn't, then we have to go up to the next level and see how we're gonna fix it.
You're saying in your research that there's not really been issues with this particular thing.
Big cities are using this through smaller pipes, like New York, those types of places that have these older pipes. Instead of tearing out the whole building, they send these through and it forms a new pipe on the inside of the old one.
It's like a stent in a heart. No.
Basically, extending the life on it. This is supposed to have, I think, a 50-year lifespan on it.
It sounds very similar to what the utility department did, and I'm trying to,
It's absolutely pretty close.
it's not the same thing, but it's close.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to figure out earlier, because I
It's very similar.
forget what it's called. What's that called? Do you remember?
And the acronym is CIPP.
It's okay.
Is there any prep work that's gonna have to be done? Because some of those pictures are, like, it won't damage.
We've already inspected with the camera. We sent the cameras down in there, saw where the failures were. The company reviewed it, said they can do it. That was part of the quote process. They said they have in there, but it'll be successful.
You've got the pictures in there. I
Uh-huh.
hope y'all look-
No, I was looking, that's why I was asking,
Yeah.
like, some of them are pretty damaged, so.
Yeah,
This metal pipe, corrugated pipe it's a little over 25 years old. So it's rusted, it's got holes in it, those kinds of things. We don't allow metal anymore for this reason.
Mhm.
What you're wanting to show right here.
Yeah.
That's the minor part of it. There's actual full holes. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep on. Right there.
This just wore out over time, basically.
Keep going, there's another one that's way worse.
It's bad out right here. The next one,
Keep going.
pretty bad.
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the sinkhole one right there.
Yeah, I think this patient got a little bit of blockage. Need a stent right away.
Yes.
That's why I say if it's blowing it out, like, is something like that gonna prevent it from setting properly, or is that, but
Neurologist.
they did the evaluation,
Yeah.
They're saying we're good.
yeah.
We're just trying to do the cheapest, safest method to where we don't inconvenience the homeowners and obviously save money doing so.
Seriously.
Be safe.
Did you find it? How does,
Jake did, street superintendent.
Good job, Jake.
I mean, what was he doing?
Just that one.
Scout.
Get into that with that one. Some of my staff members, I just leave it at what they
Good.
do in their own time is their business.
Yes.
New RC car he was testing out. No, I'm kidding.
they great. I mean, they caught it.
Yes.
Are you talking about how we found the problem?
Yes.
There's a sinkhole.
This is.
Oh,
Already a sinkhole started. We're trying to save that area before we cost the city a bunch of money.
Hence, that's what you're saying. That pipe is where the sinkhole is located.
For that, the picture that Cody was commenting on.
Any more questions? Anybody?
This was taken in June 4 of last year.
Correct.
That seems like a long time ago. Okay.
You good?
Yeah. just-
Okay.
statement.
Like to add, real quick, we're very close to, reaching an agreement on the contract. We're not there yet, so this would be contingent on.
Yeah, we would do that on the adoption. I got a note here.
And that's more on me. I just misunderstood what Rabel was asking of me, so I had to call him yesterday, get some clarification.
So the amount that's on there,
That is final. That, the price is not, the verbiage is what we're questioning, not the price.
We ready?
Go ahead, Brian.
All right, resolution number 2025-20, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk as representatives of the city of Centerton, Arkansas, to enter into an agreement with Humbard Contracting Incorporated, Green Forest, Arkansas, for culvert installation project for the city of Centerton.
Sounds like make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-20 contingent on Brian's final approval of the contract.
Moved.
And we have a motion. You have a second?
Second.
Hey, second. All right. Roll call, sir.
Tony.
Yes. Man.
Josh.
I'm used to saying.
yes.
Sophie.
No, man.
Yes. Andy. Yes.
Yes. All right, our next resolution is 2025-21. This is an agreement with DEI to design Highway 102 driveway improvements. Let me talk a little bit about this. So we're working with Walmart. They're gonna put a traffic light, and they've already got the plans submitted to RDOT for a traffic light at Sienna and Highway 102.
Yes.
However, the city's gonna be responsible for some driveway improvements on the north side of 102 from Sonic all the way back to Main Street, and then on the south side where McDonald's is. So they do want construction plans. We chose CEI. They're already working. They've got all the measurements, and everything. They did quote us a cost of $12,500. We did meet with Walmart on Thursday. They are moving ahead with this project. Actually, they'll probably be submitting their revised plans probably sometime in late June. They're making some modifications to the store. It was also brought up, because it was brought up in a previous meeting, that we are eligible for reimbursement for this from Walmart, up to 30,000. So Walmart? Yeah, from the project. So they are, we'll submit for the reimbursement. So, but we are doing this in conjunction with them. Now, this is an RDOT requirement to move this thing forward. I mean, later on down the road, I mean, as 102 all the way from here, all the way back to Highway 49, they're gonna be making highway improvements. Looks like since we're putting this light in, we're gonna be on the hook for some of these improvements. But you know what, if it gets the job done, gets Walmart here, let's get it done.
Yes. Rapid growth.
So. That's,
I have asked that Walmart does all the work for us, including design, installation, and construction of everything. So of course, that, well, we'll have to bring that back to you guys at a later date. We'll have to pay for it.
no,
But just so y'all know, it's all gonna be, we're trying to group it all into one, so we don't have to keep going back to RDOT. Their review process is extensive and long.
any questions? Counselor?
Resolution number 2025-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk as representatives of the city of Centerton, Arkansas, to enter into an agreement with CEI Engineering Associates Incorporated, Bentonville, Arkansas, for construction plans for Highway 102 driveway improvement plan per RDOT in the city of Centerton, Arkansas.
All right, someone like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-21.
I'll second.
Who seconded? I thought Joseph. All right,
Hey, wait,
Josh.
who motioned?
Cliff.
Oh, we're killing me over here.
And he said Josh, second.
Josie did.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Roll call, ma'am. No.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Sophie.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right, this next resolution is 2025-22. This is an agreement with CEI for extra work. So several years ago, and I've got Lorraine here in case I missed something. So several years ago, we started the design of a loamer down there in the downtown area. You know, a lot of it's in a flood zone. And we have some funds we're carried over, but we need some additional funds to complete the work. Now, a couple of good things about getting the loamer. You know, right now we have some restrictions, some building down there. Hopefully we get this and it's favorable to us. We can, you know, do a little bit more building modifications and projects down there. And also it does help on flood insurance too. I mean, we've been recognized by the state and everything, or FEMA for our stuff. So the ask is for $9,500 for this, to complete this project. We're already like part of the way through it, so. Any questions?
Yeah, so just to clarify, my understanding was that the actual cost was gonna be 13,014, but we had 2 credits. That brought it down to the 9,500. Is that correct when I look at the spreadsheet?
We are transferring.
Yes, 2 credits. Did I read that correctly?
Right.
That's what I thought.
Well, there's 3 phases to this project. First, we started with doing a study of the FEMA
Mhm.
data and using more accurate data, doing survey and so forth. And looking to see if that changes the floodplain,
Mhm.
if that would reduce it any. And we do have areas where it reduces the floodplain, which is one of, well, that's the area that's the hardest. We do allow building in it, which we didn't think we did, but our code does state that we do allow building. But you have to, it's stricter criteria. But, so they did the flood study. We have a, what we call a topo map that shows the changes of the floodplain. I mean, one place that actually is removed is the city hall. So, and there's actually, and then there's elevations that go down, you know, the base flood elevations that go down. There's others that will raise a little bit because it's all based on the best of survey data. So then we started to do this loamer and go into this phase, and that's why some of the money was spent. And then we thought, well, let's look at what improvements, you know, maybe we could do some improvements and see if that would impact it more before we do those, do the loamer.
Yeah.
But that ended up that we didn't have the money to do the improvements even anyway, so now we're back. Let's get the loamer completed, approved. That gives us a new existing baseline map, and then any improvements that go from there, we have good data to use.
It was good to explore to see, can we do anything? I think that's it, that we needed to do that.
There were a couple of options that we need to look at, and laying a lot of pipe to do it. So, but the 2 credit amounts we're closing out those phases. And the auditor, they've been on us for a long time. When is this?
Okay.
So we're gonna close out those phases, roll those leftover amounts into this phase.
Yes.
We kind of estimated that it would be around, we're hoping 12,000, but I was thinking of if we have a public, you know, meeting.
Oh, yes.
With the business and property owners down there, that may eat up a little more, so having a little extra, if
Yes.
it's extra, great, if otherwise, this is our best estimate.
More questions for anyone?
All right, resolution number 2025-22, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk as representatives of the city of Centerton, Arkansas to enter into extra work agreement number 2 with CEI Engineering Associates Incorporated, Bentonville, Arkansas, for preparation, submittal, and completion of the letter of revision along McKissick Creek in the city of Centerton, Arkansas.
Someone like make motion to adopt resolution 2025-22.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
Second from Wendy. Roll call, ma'am.
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Yes. All right, our last resolution is resolution 2025-23. This is agreement with Bodark Builders. This is to replace the flooring at the community room. Also, at the same time, they'll be removing
No,
the old podium in the front.
yes.
That's there. Also the stage, we'll be replacing some doors. We're also gonna sand down the walls that's in there. We're gonna repaint or restain those. We'll repaint the inside. He won't be doing that. We'll, community volunteers to help us with that project, but
Timeline on that.
so he's ready to start, hopefully in the next 30 days. We're working out right now when we can get him in there.
Next week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wanted to
We're
start
trying,
this
we're
week.
trying to work on the timing out.
Right for
So-
We get approval first for this? Yeah.
Yeah, we're working around our community room schedule too, so. So anyway, that's what that one is.
What type of flooring?
That flooring he's putting in there.
It's like the thick laminate,
Waterproof?
yes. My brain is not.
Scratch proof.
Okay.
Scratch.
The life proof stuff, but it's like commercial quality.
Through vinyl plank.
Thank you.
Ready? Resolution number 2025-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk as representatives of the city of Centerton, Arkansas, to enter into agreement with Bodeck Builders LLC, Springdale, Arkansas, for flooring install at the Centerton Community Room in the city of Centerton, Arkansas.
Someone like to make a motion. Approve or adopt resolution 2025-23 contingent on final approval of the contract from Brian. He has it. He's has it reviewed, so.
Motion.
You got a motion?
Second.
We got a second. Roll call.
Cody,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Betsy,
Yes.
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 All right, that takes care of ordinances and resolutions. Next, I'm gonna bring up Christie. She's gonna introduce the team with her. We also have Jason with Crossland here. And we're gonna give us a little high-level overview of our new community center, where we're at. Also, we have boards up here. Everybody wants to take a look at them. We've presented these same boards at coffee with the mayor. But I think one or two will hang around toward the end of the meeting if y'all have any questions. I think they will.
That'd be great.
So anyway, I'm gonna turn it over to Christie and she's gonna,
John Langham from WER.
you got Brandon with him too? You got this young lady here. She's with you, right?
Yes.
Introduce everybody.
Crossland Construction.
Crawford Construction.
All right.
We brought the whole team. Great. Very excited to finally reach this milestone for the project right now.
Yeah. We've been working with your staff. We've been last several months and also survey. We put a survey to the community, got over 600 responses, which is really good. Had community forums, been looking at operational data from our consultant Ballard King for staffing and also being able to operate the center, after it's built. So a lot of data, a lot of work's gone into this. So we're really excited to be able to share this schematic design update with the council.
Nice.
So when we get started on a project, we don't just design in a vacuum. We want to understand who you are as a community so that we can start to incorporate those ideas, that history into the project. It brings meaning to all of our decisions. It really drives us. When we started studying the history of Centerton, did you know that you are the apple capital of the world? Okay, all right. 2 times, 1900, 1900 fair, World's Fair, 1904. We thought that was a really meaningful historical component. The fact that apple orchards were very a rich part of your history in your community. And we took that idea of the center, the core, the heart of the community being about apples, and the idea of orchards and families and businesses working together to create success in the city. We also studied your existing municipal facilities, these civic jewels, these landmarks that will begin to define who you are. You've embraced this idea of a courtyard, a surrounding place where the public can come visit together, both on the exterior and the interior of the building, really blending that experience. So that drove us as well, this idea of creating courtyards. And the apple evaporator, a lot of the apples that were harvested in this area were, that pictures from this area, were processed here. And that architecture was very much a contextual type of architecture, and it drives us as well. Even looking at some of the materials and textures that come from that, but really trying to get a sense of ownership of your community.
what could we say about this place? They would say, this is who you are. That was some of the things we heard. It was like, well, we don't really have a sense of identity. You do, you just haven't discovered it fully yet. So can we create a center that does become the heart of your community? By looking at your history, creating a sense of home, a place of belonging and placement. But we can't just design this very theoretical idea, right? We have to actually have a function to it. It's got to serve you well and for generations. It's got to have amenities that you need. As John said, we visited with you. We had an open community forum. Your staff, they're unbelievable. They went to the high school twice. Okay, that's right there, commendable. To go to the high school and ask high school students, what do they want to see in their community? They were there at Trunk or Treat and gave out a lot of candy to your community, by the way, but got a lot of stickers and feedback in return. There was the survey that John had mentioned before. And then the city's even been invited to coffee with the mayor to see the progress. So it was important to involve everybody in developing these amenities. So the list of amenities was developed as a wish list initially, but we've scaled that back because you can't build everything that the community wants today. So we're going to show you phase 1 today. And then in the future, your building's set up to be able to expand. John's going to talk more about that. Amenity wise, you will have a group exercise room. You're going to have locker rooms, indoor aquatics, a gymnasium. You'll have a fitness area with free weights and cardio equipment. You'll have a community room that can seat up to 150 people. There will be party rooms as well. That's a revenue generator. And then child watch. We'll talk more about that when we look at the floor plan. Phase 1 is all of the amenities that I've just listed over here. And then of course we did plan for future expansion. We'll talk more in that detail. All of those concepts I just talked about, the idea of history, home, center, community, and placemaking, those are all being incorporated into these amenities. So that's what we wanted to kind of show you tonight.
So this is the site plan for day 1. And so we have you know, this entry here. So we have a drop off and then the entry into the building, creating the Christy's talking about, and creating really that kind of welcoming feel as you come into the building. We've been very intentional in how we laid it out, like Christy mentioned, for some of the phases. Next slide there. So we've so in laying it out, we've located the amenities that will definitely want to be able to be expanded in the future as the community continues to grow. So we've got a gymnasium that's easily expandable. We've got a future indoor competition pool on the west side of the project, and then also thought about how some of the outdoor amenities would lay out in the future. And we did this so that in the future, as these are added, as the community grows and this grows, you know, it's set up to not so it'll plug in additions. It'll naturally become part of the building in the future. And then also future tennis and pickleball courts. And then on the back side of the west side, thinking about ideas of how we could add some trails in the future, potential amphitheater, and easily expand the parking and you know, just be able to add on, because no matter where these community centers are built, they're almost always you add to them as the community grows. Next slide is.
Yeah. So getting into the floor plan a little bit.
Yep.
Just to orient you. So this is the entry courtyard area here. As you come into the main shared lobby space, there's an open community room space. I say open because that'd be more of a public area. The community room can seat up to 150 people. It'll have a covered veranda out towards the east here. And that's part of that public space as well. We have child watch towards the rear of the building, right across from those party rooms. The party rooms are adjacent to the indoor aquatics. That way they can be rented for parties, but they can also just serve the lobby space as well. From the lobby space, what you see is a small admin area right here in the core for good, what we call passive supervision. We'll be able to kind of see what's going on. And then in the locker room area, the men's and women's locker room are separated by more of a family locker room style. and with separate individual, what we call cabanas. Those are just individual changing and shower room spaces. Into the indoor aquatics area, you do have place for a water slide, some lap lane, open pool area that'll really serve you for water aerobics, any kind of water fitness, as well as a shorter channel for lazy river or resistance training. And then we do have zero entry area as well. This will be for the tots and just a small water play area. And then we're trying to preserve as much deck space as possible so that individuals can move about the water features. This is supported by your guard station and your first aid area. And within over here on this dry side, here we have a gymnasium, a group exercise room. This can also serve as an additional community room, but it'll be a little bit more multifunctional. So we'll have to make sure the flooring works for both functions. And then storage area there on the first floor. On the second floor, we've got a walking track around this space here to make that as long as possible. And out with views out to that courtyard area. You've got cardio and then weight training areas over here with room for consultation if you need it.
So it's kind of a bird's eye view looking at the four kind of angles here on the building. So as Christy mentioned, the gymnasium kind of entry courtyard here. And so gymnasium on the front side of the building, aquatics on the west side. This is the community wing of the project. So on the next slide,
I was gonna say, before you jump, just real quick here up in the top right corner there, that's kind of showing how we're starting to preserve that open lawn space for you to easily add on into the future. Yeah, but it's also great recreation space on day one. Doesn't cost you a lot.
Here's a rendering, looking at coming into the entry. Christy talked a little bit about materiality. We're trying to use very durable materials, long lasting, things that are low maintenance for the construction of the building. And then you can see here flagpoles, an opportunity for a memorial there at the front, Veterans Memorial, incorporating some kind of lawn space, kind of interactive play features on front as well. And the next slide is kind of we also want to create a real sense of arrival. So you can see the atrium here, the lobby. So when you get there, you know exactly where the entry is. We created on the front side of the community room this front porch concept, and so it's kind of on the left side here. So so that people that maybe aren't going into the community room, but they still have a place where you can kind of have some outdoor kind of hangout space on the front. And then the next slide is just kind of a zoom in version of that front porch that we're proposing at the front of the community wing.
No, just any questions from you?
Thank you for your comments. We did have the copy of the mayor. One of the questions that was asked was regarding storm shelter. You spoke to that, but I think we probably have some viewers that probably want to hear that as well. And my question is how far off of Keller is this going to, like the entrance going to be? Is it like directly like close up to Keller? Or is it further out or?
Right there. A little ways off.
Yeah, it's probably 300 feet back from Keller. So we did put the parking on the east side. And then there's a space that retention basin as well as future pickleball or tennis ball courts between that and Keller Road as well. We really wanted to nestle that into the site, but also not try to stack all the parking in the front. So that allowed us to kind of wrap the parking around a little bit.
Since the meeting, like there was some concern during the meeting of not enough restrooms. That's been an additional concern that's been brought to me since then. Just feeling like that they're the combination. Well, both. The cabana part, he talked about, how that's gonna be laid out, but they feel like there's not enough. So just giving you that feedback. I know that was something you're gonna take back, but
Yes, we are going to be reviewing that area. In fact, we talked about that as a team yesterday and today. To look at revising that area to see if we could, you are meeting all of your code requirements right now. But if there is concern from your public that they're all gonna, hit the showers all at the same time and now there's a big wait, that could start to affect your membership. We don't want to do that.
Okay.
So we definitely want to take a second.
That
look
was
at
the concern, is the long lines, especially when there's children and families trying to get in and out, and you've got seniors. Of course, I interact with the seniors on a regular basis, and so there was concern. Most of it was coming from them. But then the storm shelter part it's been a hot thing for a while, so
You guys have direct experience with the need for those, so. We
fortunately.
do not have a safe room. This is not an ICC 500 rated safe room in this facility. We did submit an NOI, which is a notice of interest with FEMA on your behalf through a DEM. That wait time for an NOI to be elevated to an application, if you are selected, just to go through the application process, is anywhere from 8 to 24 months. So that did not coalesce with this time.
But he did mention that it's not called a storm shelter. I forgot what you called it.
Sure.
Just for those that may not have been at the coffee with the mayor, I think it's important to hear some potential space that they could go to.
I can speak to that a little bit, because I spoke Saturday, but FEMA does have guidelines that they put out to essentially identify the best available refuge area for any building that doesn't have a storm shelter. So you could do that on any building. So I've done a study for Bentonville West High School where you essentially go through this checklist, identify the building materials, identify which area would be the safest area. So when you think about whenever you're taking shelter, so in schools, obviously you have to identify that. And that's why a lot of the schools in this area like that checklist. And so, applying that to this building, the safest area would be the locker room area, but we can't say that that is a storm shelter. It doesn't meet the ICC 500 criteria, which is really specific, building materials, wall reinforcement, doors, obviously, wind blows, all these different stresses that happen to the building. So.
Does that help?
Yeah, I think there was a specific word that you used of what you called it.
Best available refuge area.
Right.
Is the checklist that FEMA has put out, and you can access that, you can look it up. It's available.
That would qualify as that.
Yeah, so you can qualify any space. I mean, it's essentially picking out, okay, you don't have a storm shelter in this building, but what is the safest area to essentially take shelter in during a storm, right? So.
You wouldn't want to advertise that.
So that's why
That's exactly the
it was
point.
one of the things that was brought up by residents, that
Mhm.
can we make this a storm shelter? Because that's a big concern here, because a lot of people don't have places.
I think part of it though, if people's in the community room already, then they'll move to this location.
Right,
I don't think you want to bring people from outside.
well,
The storm shelter.
They're in here already, then yeah, you want them in a safe place.
I think that's exactly what we're saying. You can't advertise this as a storm shelter because it doesn't meet all that criteria that we've talked about.
it's good for us to have on record. This is not the time for that.
Not a storm shelter, not a ICC 500 shelter.
How many showers y'all have in there right now?
We have 8 total, so 4 per, there's 4 that are individual restrooms, so that could be a family restroom or family changing area. And then 2 in each of the men's, 2 in each of the women's.
I think you told me you would add a shower in the pool area too. That came up.
Yeah, well, a deck shower is completely acceptable and easy to add. We usually do recommend that we-
Yeah, that did come up.
In the changing rooms, there's 2 showers in the men's, 2 showers in the women's.
And then there's the cabana, which is like a toilet and a shower, like an actual room. And ones, yeah.
And it's kind of trade-off. The more cabanas, the fewer kind of, showers, it's just kind of square footage. We could either have more cabanas or fewer cabanas, more kind of grouped, restrooms.
One cabana or how many cabanas?
There's 4 currently.
Okay, that's where the 4 came from. So that's not fair. It was
Side, right?
4 total.
So they're universal.
And then there's 2 individual
Oh.
ones. So you got a total of 4, 7, 8, 8 is where you said 8, saying it was. And quite a few. I mean, I think that, the gym right up there in Bentonville, whatever it's called.
Community center.
Nope.
Fitness?
Planet Fitness.
There we go, Planet Fitness.
I know about them showers.
Yeah.
I'm there every day.
How many- yeah.
I don't think they have that many. I may be wrong.
I think there's three in the men's one. I don't know about the other one. There's three very little ones.
So if there's three in each side, they don't have the cabanas
No.
either. So I mean, and this gym, Mayor, is it gonna be same size as Planet Fitness,
It's gonna
smaller?
be twice that size, the overall building.
No,
Planet
no,
Fitness is about 19,000 square feet.
I mean, our fitness center itself.
No, it won't be as big as Planet Fitness, no.
And
It won't be 19,000 square feet, not for this, that.
I think even with the pool added in there, that's quite a few bathrooms, with quite a few showers. I mean,
You also have
my opinion.
families there that you wouldn't see at Planet Fitness, you know, so.
Well, I mean, we have 4 cabanas for them to share if they want,
Right.
or they go into their own. And I mean, I don't know, that to me, it seems like.
I'm just speaking to what has been brought to me as far as concern. Cause Rogers Wellness Center is where a lot of people go and they feel like it's very scarce as far as how much bathrooms they have there. So that was their comparison.
They go to the where?
Rogers Wellness Center.
How many they got in the wellness
That's
center?
a great question. I haven't been.
You said 8.
Square foot is for
Yeah,
them.
that's it. Huh?
Much larger facility, but the woman we spoke to Saturday.
Yeah, she just says that they go in, there's lines.
So it's a much
when
larger
putting
facility.
The
It's
bath,
a much larger facility, probably serving a much larger people group, right? So I mean, makes sense.
Be interested if I was in the Bentonville one too. I mean, and we can probably see that online somewhere, so.
Yeah, probably.
Some of the feedback we got from touring other centers, was that a lot of the folks, the people that ran these places said, we wish we would have had more cabanas. So that's kind of why we erred on the side of cabanas, because I think families use those when they get there and, get their kids dressed and.
not having to go to one side or the other.
Right, yeah.
That's-
So, but we are gonna look at ways to maybe, without increasing square footage, on how to maybe get, we're gonna look at.
Well, even in the
out-
future, as you continue to develop, that doesn't mean we can't put another locker room or something at that point, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I was
curious.
curious about. Which walls can you extend out based on the construction of this? Where will you be able to go to a phase 2 in 5 to 10 years?
This is
from now?
phase 2. Added,
What you're seeing,
So
Phase 2.
locker room.
Okay.
the
Yeah,
bright.
big
light is
bright
phase-
white ones up.
Ah, I see.
Phase 2.
Okay. Well, and even phase 2, even in the future, you
You
know,
got more, yeah.
yes, we'll be able to add on.
so this is, future locker rooms right there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the indoor competition pool.
I use all of it
Okay.
eventually.
Okay.
That's gonna be 28.
That's the whole 20 acres.
Okay.
Initially, we're just using this, but
Gotcha.
as we
Okay, that
phase
makes
it out,
sense.
we use it all.
Thank
So
you.
it's the.
Okay, I
You
wasn't
said
seeing
future
that.
gym. I thought we had a gym on the
There's
phase.
a gym.
And
Two gyms.
a second gym.
Okay.
Yeah, as money becomes available. That's the key.
So have you
Money
found
becomes available.
in anything else
Okay.
you've done the party room? Two sounds like a low amount to me. I would figure those people would be fighting over the 2.
You should be able to have them
I
booked
can know.
almost every day
Yeah.
to,
Have you found that's a good number?
yes, for a while, we looked at trying to reduce it just to keep the project in budget, but we felt those were really important for revenue generating. You can always overflow into your group X room during its, unbooked hours, because it'll have a resilient flooring in it, so you can clean up ice cream, stuff like that. Or you could go into the community rooms. Those rooms will be a little bit more elevated in their finishes. So you've got some flexibility in your building. That was one of the things that your staff had really pushed us to explore, was creating multi-flexible spaces in here. They could be used in a lot of different ways. But your dedicated party rooms are those 2 right there.
And I will tell you, through that green spot where you have the future tennis pickleballs, I am applying for a grant from Outdoor Parks Recreation for that. Well, I don't know if we'll get it, but we're gonna certainly throw it out there.
Yeah.
And then we'll reach out, I will reach out to sponsors, see if we can get some sponsorship for some of this too. Now to have something more to work with. Cause hey, any donation or support we can get from
Will
the
they,
area.
will West use their swim team? Will they be?
We won't be able to use this, no,
Oh,
but they
Even-
have
even in the
expect.
second phase, the lanes aren't gonna be long enough.
Yes, the second phase.
Second
Yeah, the
phase.
second phase. Yeah, I imagine the second phase, we'll have swim teams knocking on our door trying to get in there.
Now, I will tell you on that too, is we had, me and Nicole, when this was first announced, we had 3 different swim teams come in here. hey, we need more pools, Northwest Arkansas and all this, and I get it. But I told all three of them, why don't you pull your resources together and see what we can do here to partner up? And
Mhm.
actually, the Bentonville Chamber of Commerce got a hold of that and tried to, get something going. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, but they, had like 20 of us in there, the school district and everybody trying to make something work. So, I mean, there's opportunities, if someone wanted to partner up with us. But, and they, like I said, we asked them to, plan it out for the future, so we can, have some more goals.
That's good.
Work for.
On that note, you gotta make sure that there's deck space for spectators if you're going
Right.
to do a competition pool.
Right.
For Bentonville failed, there's no room for spectators. They try to host a states.
Yes, yes.
You have to get a ticket to go in and watch your child swim, and go out the other door and the next group comes in, and it's ridiculous. But there's a lot of opportunity for city revenue.
Yes, there is.
Swim meets.
Yes, there is. Yes. Yes.
And like I said, those swim clubs, they all have no pools anyway, so there's some revenue opportunities there too.
No, right.
Pickleball is getting big. I mean.
And we provided actually.
I think there's one coming on Main Street.
Yeah, Main Street, yes.
So-
I agree. Indoor, outdoor, restaurant, shop,
The shop and the bar and coffee shop.
restaurant, yeah.
Killers for the outdoor.
Well, I was
stuff
referring to
instead of
like
competition.
Competitions, I don't know that business.
That's another factor too. This is a leisure pool, which you'll have an indoor, we were just discussing the temperature of the water. The indoor leisure pool is really set for families and children for recreation, and the water temperature needs to be warmer. Competition pools need to be much, much colder. Otherwise your athletes get overheated. So that was the intent, and that was very much driven by your community and your operational analysis, determining what would generate more income for you.
Good. Very good.
I was asking Kayla, am I at the right spot now?
Can you go back to the actual floor layout of the inside of the building? They were just talking about the bathrooms a lot.
Right here?
It's the next
The
slide.
layout, there we go.
So,
Yes, that one.
that one, yes.
Oh, it goes a little more of a delay, so that one, okay.
What we referenced here was, this is it's a shared corridor connecting the aquatics to the main circulation. And off of that are these 4 cabanas. That's a full restroom with a shower stall. And then off of that is the men's with toilets, showers, sinks, and lockers. And then off the women's side, same thing. Showers, toilets, lockers, sinks, and a vanity counter. And then those drop into the leisure area. So they can be accessed from the dry side or the wet side.
And there's lockers, like you mentioned, lockers on the outside and on the inside, so that's good.
We did family style lockers. Those often are much easier to use. That way the family can come in, they can just put everything in one locker and then go do all their own different things and then come back to the building.
Where's the gym?
The gymnasium is here to the right of the main corridor. So you come in the main doors here, come back past
There's
the
the gym upstairs for weight.
The weight room is actually what I was asking.
It's a separate.
They're up here on the
for-
second floor.
for-
It's the second. Is there any lockers and stuff up there for access?
have cubbies and lockers upstairs too, not as many. But enough to where you can go set your keys and your phone down and not worry about it getting stolen.
What about a business person that's gonna go like before work and doesn't wanna wear their work clothes while they run and get sweaty?
They would use any of these lockers to store their,
Well, I guess, is that downstairs?
Yeah.
So they would do, okay.
Your cardio going up the steps.
Yes.
Or the elevator,
Like
the
a-
elevator.
like a PlayStation gaming area, is that what you're referring to? Okay.
so we could either do something with augmented reality right here, or it could just be a game station. It's up to you. Basically, what we were doing is capturing the space underneath that stair to open up outside of that group X zone and the gym zone. We see a lot of kids will kind of float in and out of the gymnasium, or teens will. And that kind of gives them a place to kind of hang out a little bit. And you get that passive supervision. They don't really feel like they're being watched, but they're being watched.
Yeah, that's good.
Right there.
How much square foot?
The stairs, that's where your desk, there will be a check-in desk up here. With space for a consultant. Some facilities do hire fitness consultants, or you might bring in a nurse once a week to, do health checks. So whatever you guys want to do, have a space. If you don't need it for consultation, you can use it for extra storage. You can always use it for extra storage. You will never have enough storage in a rec center. So, and then once you come up here, we put the weights a little bit in the back. Those tend to perform better when they're not the first thing you see. And then the cardio equipment is right here off the front side of the gymnasium. It's open to below, so you'll be able to walk along the track and look down.
Both of those are upstairs.
That-
The cardio and the gym, the other part of the gym are both upstairs.
The gym, when we say gymnasium, that's your court. That's your volleyball, your pickleball, and your basketball courts are all accessed from the main level. Just look down over onto.
Yes, yeah, square foot or something.
The augmented reality area, how many square feet was that proposed to be?
Was it supposed to be an area?
Proposed.
Oh, it's just the space underneath the stairs, so that's probably 200 square feet right there. For that space, so enough for some seating, lounge, and a flat screen.
That's cool. Okay.
There are there's so much technology you could incorporate into the building. Ultimately, what we like to do is provide you with rough ends so you can bring in technology as it changes, but some of that augmented reality is you just it's a glorified projector. You put it in the ceiling, it projects down onto the floor, you know, a pond or something like that, and then you can kick a virtual soccer ball or like
That's really
shoo
cool.
away the fish or something like that. It's kind of fun. Or it's just a TV, a smart TV, and you can put stuff up on the screen.
There been some discussion about the operational cost of
Can I answer his question?
Yeah, of course.
There's been some discussion about operational costs for the facility. As part of our team, we brought in Ballard King. Ballard King provides operational analysis for recreation centers across the nation. They ran an operational analysis. So they say, we assume you're gonna be open from this many hours to this many hours. We assume that you're gonna pay these rates and you're gonna hire this many people. We assume based on your demographic that you're gonna have this many memberships. Based on that, this is how much revenue you generate, and these are your expenses. And so right now, your operational analysis, obviously, you do operate in the negative. So it could be anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 annually that will need to be supplemented out of the general fund.
And that's after I have that, do they figure out membership cost?
Yes,
check
they,
that in there as well?
yeah, they do. They look at your surrounding competition to see what the market will support. And based on your demographics, you have a really low cost of living for the amount of income, which then would support a little bit higher membership fees. They will make proposals to you. Ultimately, you guys get to decide. Same with the hours, of operational hours. You guys will decide what works best for you, but they're gonna make a proposal to you and we bring that to you. Now that we have the program set, they can really dial that in. And then our next steps are to meet with the staff and figure out how does the staff want to begin operating the facility? So they can then take those. So for instance, I think we said we closed at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Many recreation facilities will stay open till 10. That means you gotta pay staff to stay open till 10. Can your membership support staying open till 10 and actually generate more revenue, or does it cost you more money? So just simple decisions like that. Did that answer your question?
Anything else?
So you couldn't incorporate a coffee bar?
We do have a coffee bar, actually, yes, I didn't talk about it, it's right here. Right across from, right behind the lobby, check-in desk area. That was important to us, we thought, we wanted to bring people into the lobby, because enjoy the space.
You're not this.
Coffee?
Okay. Early Saturday.
Good.
You got it.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. So our next steps are, we're gonna continue working through this building design with Crossland and with your staff, making sure that we're still checking all the boxes. Ultimately, we want to end up standing in front of you around November to propose a GMP from Crossland to go out to go into the construction phase.
I'm glad that you said that, because there's been a few comments about when and when isn't already here. That, so is there like an anticipated date of? I mean, I know that there may be some tariff issues too with some of the products, but
Material.
do we have any kind of,
We have estimated, right now it's very early, but spring of 2027 is what we're looking at. For substantial completion and occupancy.
oh, I have promise.
You sure? You got all your questions answered? Everybody?
Well, that's okay. This is why.
You're good.
I mean, as good as I'll be with that, I think we're missing out on not having changing rooms in the, or around the fitness area.
Second
Oh,
floor.
the gym?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're missing, I think we will have people complain about that. I don't know that there's any place that you can put it.
There's bathrooms up there, right?
We do have restrooms upstairs, and like I said, we do have lockers. It is customary to provide the locker rooms in one location in the building, and we place them there so that they can basically serve both a wet and dry side. So that becomes the center of the building. You come in, you get changed, you go upstairs. You're not doing anything out of the ordinary here.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, I think we're gonna hear some complaints on people who come in to just go to the fitness center. And I'm not saying it's, I just think we're gonna hear complaints on it.
There's gonna be complaints, yeah.
We're gonna hear complaints regardless. That's just the long.
No, that's not what I'm doing.
There's not a big enough place to go around to get everything.
I'm not getting that there's gonna be 15% of the people that are gonna be unhappy no matter what we do. I'm just thinking.
I think the people are actually gonna be happy that this is happening. I think they're gonna be great. We have another
And we
minute.
have nothing now, so we're providing a lot in comparison to what we already have. So.
I'm excited about it. Don't get me wrong.
If you're there to work out,
Here's
take
that-
us downstairs and go up them steps, man, get that cardio, get that heart going. Climb up them steps.
I see what
Might be
you
ramps too, I don't know.
mean, though. Those individuals have to now, they have to interact and through a space where they're like, I don't even need to be over in this part of the building. I just want to be up there.
We live in a world that doesn't want to go where they don't have to go. And
Yes, that's the word it came.
But I will also say, the place that you were referring to earlier, next town over that has a fitness center, most people already come in there dressed.
I never did.
I see a lot of people just come in already ready to go and then they get in their car and go home or go about their business.
There were.
Not everybody, but a lot. So.
Met a lot of people in the locker room.
but a
I
lot-
brought you pictures of the idiosyncrasies of human nature and that there's a rec center in California that has an escalator up to the front door.
It's funny.
You're right, there's going to be those opportunities, but if, say, you start to get a lot of complaints, that consultation space or perhaps a portion of the storage space could be carved out to become just a changing room with don't put any plumbing in it, just switching up. And then put some lockable cubbies upstairs. You do something like that if you start to feedback. Right. Thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
And then we will have, everybody listen to everything, we will have another meeting on May 29th here, 9:30 PM.
5:30.
It's on the firehouse sign already, so people drive by, they can see it, so. All right, great, thank you. We'll see it on Centerton Uncensored 2.0. Kidding about that. Anyway, all right, so I don't think we have to do anything on that one. All right, Cody, where you at? Come on up here. This is what you couldn't see. This is the way I inverted this. This is on me, not you.
I was gonna say, what's wrong with my thing?
It's the way I converted it from an email. So, go ahead and tell what you want.
We're just requesting to increase the cash on hand from the drug fund from $300 to $1,300. These funds are used for drug investigations. We need to be able to have access to the fund quickly, and it'll be kept on hand. All the paperwork and everything is done, gets audited every year, so there are checks and balances as well.
By then, cause
So we actually have an officer that's dedicated to working drug crimes now, which includes the purchasing of narcotics from people. And I can't just call up Shannon and be like, hey, I need this right now. She may not be available.
Cody, can you explain her what the drug fund is, just so she knows? No, I mean, it's a good question.
Drug fund is something that was established, I couldn't even tell you how long ago now. A portion, so there's a fee associated with every drug arrest, regardless if it's actual drugs or paraphernalia, and that money goes into our drug funds. There are city drug funds, there are county drug funds. This is our drug.
It's coming from the person who's been arrested.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it comes through a portion of that. So just like with any ticket anybody gets, there are fees associated with that. With any drug related arrest, there are additional fees that go straight to the drug funds. So that's where this money comes from. Reason being, those are put in by the legislature and it allows us to have funds to be able to investigate, hopefully make a dent in some of these things. And so this is going to allow us to have a little bit more cash in. When we need it, it'll be available for the effective.
Is this kind of like a sting operation? Is that
Could be for anything.
where you go and?
It's classified. Go on.
I mean, I'm not a police officer and I have no idea what this means.
Wait a minute, we're in a public meeting, you know it's classified.
I understand what that means.
These funds are.
Power. Gotcha, okay. It's important.
Getting into all the specific details on something I can.
Well, I just was trying to understand what it meant, but that makes sense. Thank you.
So to increase the cash on hand, police department, it's kept behind, actually 3 locked doors, behind CID evidence room, and it's also kept in a small safe behind, there as well, so, check and balances are all there.
Gotta give it to somebody if they're gonna have nerve enough to walk into a police station for $1,300. Three locked doors.
Oh, yeah. Well, we gotta keep, personnel records behind too, so you might as well keep money behind 3, so.
Can we
Say again, I'm sorry.
ask that question? I've noticed the construction back there. Is it going well?
Yeah, it's going fairly well. We've had some delays due to rain, but overall going well. The hope we have it in to dry by tomorrow, so that'll help speed up the process as well.
Good.
All right, so anybody have any more questions on the request? I'm gonna make a motion to increase the drug fund cash on hand from $300 to $1,300.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second,
In favor?
Aye.
You want to pose? All right,
thank you.
all right, moving right along. All right, so our next request, I'll say Anthony, since he's already up here, just tell us what you want to do.
I'm gonna stay up here.
This is your last time, I think.
Yeah. Basically, I want to convert one of my maintenance tech positions over to an admin position. I need help up front on the Parks and Rec side. Basically, what needs to happen is I need to get my supervisors out of the office and on the field using their skills where they're needed. They're spending too many hours in the office trying to figure the scheduling out of ball fields and events, those kinds of things. I also want this individual to track down grant money for parks, those kinds of things. And keep track of our events and all kinds of stuff that are gonna start popping up around the city. So that's just in a nutshell. I just need my supervisors that are operators and drivers and everything else, instead of them sitting in there trying to mess with the scheduling. I need somebody that's more focused on that stuff.
Anthony, the way I read it, just to make sure I'm hearing it correctly, this is basically just taking one budgeted position and saying that we're not gonna do that one. Instead, we're gonna take.
Renaming it.
Okay,
So
so
our slot is open right now. I'm not adding to the budget. I'm just renaming it basically. And I'll put it out internally first. If nobody wants it internally, then I'll go external.
Any more questions?
Great.
So they make a motion to approve the position request.
I'll second.
Second, okay. Okay, Wendy's made the motion. And then Josh has made the second. Okay. Right, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
All right. Next is reappointing Ben Lewis, Craig Langford, and Brandon Swoboda to the Centerton Planning Commission. Their terms are up next month. And all 3 have expressed an interest to continue to serve on the Planning Commission.
I didn't have, I don't have.
You can see that one on? Oh, I don't have a document in there. Okay. Any questions?
Mayor, is that standard practice to just extend terms, or do we advertise for new interests?
We advertise, we have open positions, but yeah, the bylaw says we can reappoint the members are there. We do feel like we are gonna have an opening coming up in July. due to the territorial jurisdiction, unless this, a person is able to annex into the city, he'll have to come off because he can't stay on the board because he's not in the city, but he is in the current planning area.
And that's not one of these people.
No, it's not one of these. But yeah, and most of these all haven't been on there that long to begin with, so.
I think typically what you've done is you've asked the people that are on there if they want to continue.
Yes.
And if not, then the opening would be
Yes,
posted.
or if they resigned in between times they move or something, because we've had openings, in the past.
How long is the appointment?
There's 3 years. It's still, this one will be till June 30th, 2028. Any questions? So make a motion to recommend, these 3 folks?
Make that motion.
Okay, we got a motion? We got a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Next. We'll bring Matt up here. And, he wants to just talk a little bit about, we now have Station 2 open, fully manned. But we need to have a little bit of rank structure up there since we are now manned, so I'll let him have his request.
All I'm asking to do is to add the engineer position and the captain position to Station 2 with the numbers that HR and finance gave. The captains will get about 10% raise on top of their pay, and then the engineers get a quarter, so it's about $21,000 a year. And all it is doing the same rank structure as we do at Station 1.
I'm adding people, we're just promoting. Okay.
That's good.
We,
So just a question, was this already budgeted in?
But I will tell you this, we've been running short a guy. The first person of the year, so this should cover it. It should work itself out, but it was not budgeted.
any more questions? I'd like to make a motion to, accept this request.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. All right, now we'll talk about the soliciting policy.
Yes.
So. So let me tell you what prompted this. I have,
Yes.
Brian's been involved with this too, so he might add if I missed something. So recently, we had a company, come in here who, violated our no soliciting policy. They were going to houses that had no soliciting decals on the doors. They were going past the 7 PM time. And it wasn't just once in a while. I mean, they were just ignoring everything and just, we got the police one night, they probably got 20 complaints in just a couple hour period. So I had Nicole contact the company. She told them if it's don't discontinue, we're gonna, pull your business license. Well, next day they just went ahead and did the same thing again. So we did just that. We pulled their business license. During that time, all the police were called. One person did receive a citation for the violation at the time, I believe is what the citation was that was issued. So he felt like our policy was unconstitutional and did send our policy to the municipal league. They actually agreed that it isn't unconstitutional, more it was the time, not the no soliciting policy itself where you have the stickers, can't knock on the doors. But it was just more the time, the 7 PM was a problem. So we did look at some other policies or some other surrounding cities. A couple of them here, which Mr. Box did mention, and the areas are highlighted. This city here lets you go, this is Bella Vista, lets you go from 9 AM to 9 PM. Bentonville is very similar. I think they go 10. Let me look.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, they go 9 PM, from 10 AM to 9 PM.
Yeah.
Okay, which is still late as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
And, then, John did also mention the Rogers one, which I actually agree with John on this.
Bless you.
It says it might ring on the bell after sunset and not before sunrise. Most people in the morning are not home, so this will be more at night. This might help us in the wintertime, because it gets dark about 6 o'clock. But right now it's already 7:54, it's already starting to get dark, so it probably still ends up eventually around 9 o'clock anyway. So I brought this back for a discussion item. I didn't bring an ordinance or anything. Also, the city of Bentonville does use the the city issue stickers, that's not a bad idea. We've done that like 5 or 6, 7 years ago.
Uh-huh.
The only problem we had is they faded. So, you know, we would have to do that investment. I think last time it was about $3,000 to buy the stickers. For the batch we bought, we hand them out here. You have the official seal on there, you know, however we want to do it. So that's not a bad policy either. You know, I think other ones just have the same thing we're doing now, this, the sticker on the door. And we had some issues actually a couple days ago, but I had Nicole call that company and we've not heard anything else. So hopefully they're going to comply. I also want to say, when we issue these permits, you know, Nicole and then also the finance department, they work together and issue these. Nicole has a sheet that she hands to them and it tells you our rules. It says you can't solicit, you know, only between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. They have no soliciting sign. You can't knock on the door. And, you know, every person, she makes a copy for every person. They are also issued a business license, you know, solicitor's permit, which is good for 60 days, right? Yeah. So did I miss anything? So this is just for your consideration. If we want to leave it like it is, if we want to consider changing it, I mean, I can bring something back next month. It was just more of a discussion item, you know, based on the letter that we received as a city.
If it's a violation of the Constitution, are we not required to change it?
Well, first off, it's alleged that it's a violation of the Constitution. The Constitution, as I'm sure you know, does not have a specific time with regards to it. So I mean, there's no magic time to cut it off. I mean, essentially, we're dealing with the freedom of speech issue, and we can create restrictions so long as they're, you know, with regards to time, you know, place and the manner in which that speech is used. So, I mean, we could set it for 9 o'clock and they could file suit against us and say that's unconstitutional. We could say dark and they could do that. Ultimately, it would have to be the court would make the determination. But I think what's important is we come up with the reason
Reasonable.
why we are doing it. And then our solution must be narrowly tailored to support that reason. So, you know, going through some cases I've highlighted, I mean, there's been municipalities have come up with 8 o'clock because they believe that it would avoid crime in other things. And I think the courts have come back and said, no, you know, you have no data that supports that an 8 o'clock curfew on solicitation, you know, reduces crime. So you've got to balance people's First Amendment right versus the restrictions. So truly, you know, reaching out to the municipal league agreed that arguably, if challenged, 7 o'clock would probably, and which is what our current code states, probably would be found unconstitutional. So my advice would be we probably won't need to extend it. But ultimately, I can't give you a magic number as to what that will be.
When I was reading this, it looks like he is stating that any time is arbitrary and he would take us to court over any of that.
Well, they are arguably correct. And so I responded back to him and I said, I will bring this to the city council. Do you have any suggestions? And I think they provided some of these ordinances, and I think the mayor was granting them as well. So I really think that they will be satisfied with a 9 o'clock. But who knows what the next solicitor.
They were the ones that provided the Rogers, the other ordinance.
I think the mayor may have gotten them, but I specifically asked them to provide ordinances that they deemed were reasonable and within the local community. And those are the ones that they provided.
And then I got a couple from other surrounding cities and some of them had 8 o'clock in there too. So and I found one that had 7. I forgot which one it was. It was like ours. So
is it not reasonable to say people don't want people going to their house after dark?
Oh, rest assured, I don't want anybody coming to my house. You know, I'm done. I want to, you know, I'll drink my bourbon, smoke a cigar and call it a day. But
As a mom, if somebody comes to my house after dark and they knock on my door, wake my kid up, I'm gonna be.
But I think one of the keys is
Especially if it's a
though,
young baby.
with, you know,
Oh, yeah.
with a no soliciting sign, I do believe that is valid, that I, as a resident, can place up a sign and coming on the curtilage of my property at that point would arguably be a violation. So I think that's probably the direction I think we'll go. But 9 o'clock certainly seems reasonable based on the Supreme Court cases I have read. 8 o'clock, maybe, but I mean, again, it's, the Supreme Court has never said this time is constitutional, this time is not. There's not a.
You don't think,
Exactly.
you don't think that saying from dusk to dawn would not sound reasonable?
Oh, I mean, I think that would appease the solicitors. But again, it's, you know, in June, it's arguably, at 9:30
Yeah.
sometimes.
Winter, it's
Yeah.
5:30.
And you know, sometimes I'm going to bed because I've got a trial first thing in the morning. I need to do whatever. I don't want them coming, but.
Which honestly, I really don't get
So-
hardly any solicitors in the fall or winter, like it's one.
What if we did-
Maybe.
What if we did 9 o'clock or dusk, whichever's earlier?
Or earlier.
That sounds very reasonable to me.
That way.
At this point.
Time. I like the idea of having a. special-
Ultimately, it determines if anybody wants to challenge it. And what, you know,
Are we obligated to issue those permits to anybody that asks?
I'd have to look at our code to see. I know that at one point we had something, we made it available. I personally, I think that we should have, if the city can provide them, but also I don't have, believe that so long as I put a no solicitation sign up of my own choosing, if I want to decorate it or whatnot, if perhaps in our code, we indicate that it's within so far of you know, the main entrance to the dwelling house, that should suffice.
I think he has about the.
Are we obligated to, like a?
Give the license.
There's nothing in our code to say who and who we can't give them to.
Can we not just make the requirements that these are the rules? If you choose to abide by them, we can give you a permit?
They have
Or
to
they sign off on it?
You do, really. I mean,
Well,
like-
the other problem you run into is you also have non-for-profits, you have religious organizations, you have political organizations.
Right now.
No, but the problem is if we start requiring permits of one thing or another, now we are actually, we're choosing which speech we think is appropriate and which speech is not, which we cannot do.
Don't we currently do that anyway? We exempt Girl Scouts, et cetera.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's one of the things that are coming out, that Girl Scouts, et cetera. Arguably, they can come till 9 o'clock. I don't think their parents are gonna let them come much.
Right.
Right,
But
but
that would be an argument that rest assured, if they were to file suit against us, they would certainly use it.
I think our ordinance covers more commercial sales.
Right. However, it's speech. It doesn't matter if it's commercial, if it's religious, if it's political, it's speech. So in some respects, it's gotta be consistent.
One more question.
Yes.
In an HOA in a neighborhood, put up signs at their entrances so that everybody doesn't have to have a sign or a sticker on their house?
Well, that would be an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. I would say, number one, the HOA, they're not a government entity, so the HOA can restrict whatever type of speech they want to. It's not the state restricting speech. The question becomes, you know,
Sign for their.
to what extent that's enforced, you know, I don't know. But
great question.
ultimately, that would be a suit against.
I don't think the police can
HOA,
enforce it unless it's on,
and not against the municipality.
but the police don't enforce the HOA rules.
What separates the political and not-for-profit and Girl Scouts from an actual commercial business? Is there a statute that states that we're not, they're exempt? Is that a state or federal statute that they're exempt, or is that
I would have to look at our code or the statute. I'm not certain.
I know that.
But I think our.
That's a pain, just didn't know if is that just our code, or is it on a state or federal?
Maybe we should direct you to do some more research. You know, we brought it up, we discussed
Sure,
it, do some more research before we draft anything and, you know, I mean, because there's some valid questions and then we can come back and just talk some more.
What I think, and also get an estimate of how much it would be to get the signs. Just a simple little sign.
Yeah, we can check on that.
Thicker. What are we doing this though right now?
That's ultimately up to you, at this point.
I think we direct him to do more research.
But do we have to respond
And the
to this
question you got
situation?
to answer for yourself is to what extent I indicated to them that this would be brought up, that we would discuss it and discuss the potential of amending our code.
Because they want to restore their
The
permit.
question becomes now, are we looking at, I'm gonna come back to you and we'll have another discussion item in June, and then we'll create an ordinance in July. And I suspect, depending on what type of revenue these folks are think that they're losing, they may go ahead and file suit.
Right.
To get an injunction.
Because they're wanting this immediately. They stated in here immediately.
Right now, there's a threat, essentially.
Threat.
But they didn't immediately follow the rules, so. We should probably put something in there if we do pull a permit. And they can reapply in a certain, like 60 days or something.
That's
Have
what I
some
would
kind of a
think.
clause in there,
I mean, collectively as the.
instead of banning them
body,
forever.
You guys should check out the code and kind of like look it over and see what else we could maybe just amend to it, because it's really very vague.
Would you email it to somebody? Not
Do I?
necessarily you, but.
It's in your Dropbox, but I can send
It's in
it.
there, but I mean, I can even offer you the rule list that I give them, and
Yeah, that'd be great.
I give it to them individually and I go over it verbally with them, and unfortunately, it is, I mean, it's gonna be one of those things that you can never. People are gonna do what they're gonna do. I mean, I go over it, I tell them, even Mayor came down there and tell them, I had a group of 16 of them the other day.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we've had it before where he's even gone over the rules, and lo and behold, they all are like, oh, we don't train our people like that. And then I get complaints, or we see it all. over
Well,
the
you
place.
get complaints from both, from
Right.
the businesses and from the citizens.
Yep.
See, you're in a no situation.
Would it mean anything if they signed that document?
No.
Do we encourage soliciting signs?
That's fine, right, I think it's,
You don't.
it's completely valid,
Just Put up a
Right.
sign.
right,
Yeah, we've posted that multiple times.
right. And I do believe that is in our code.
Cause I mean,
But I think we need to amend it to the extent that it's either, because I had a city sign at one point, it faded, I've since relocated, I do not have one.
have
I would love to have
one.
one.
I feel like too, to John's point, the one we have is from Amazon. It's really pretty and it's got all these like, I know Jesus and all that, but I think it would be good for us to have a uniformed, because then they know what to watch for, like, because they're all the same, right? So all the houses that have it, I would think, because they don't notice ours, that's for sure. So maybe that's what we need, is just to
I think,
have a more consistent sticker.
yeah, I think the people that are gonna break it aren't gonna care about the sticker. They're
But
gonna.
just think it's uniform, maybe they'll notice it more.
Well, I'm saying they're notice it or not,
They
they're
don't-
gonna say, oh, I just hit the doorbell, and whatever. And that's not saying anything mean to them, but I think that. There's people that aren't gonna care about. What's, stickers and stuff. I think the people that. That we're talking about right now. Not the not the company, I'm talking about the type.
All right, well, what are we suggesting then? I mean, what are you guys suggesting?
Can you write up a new policy and just?
I would like some direction as to what you want to do, if you want to do a sun up, sundown, if you want to do a.
I think that's the most reasonable.
Or
Yeah.
I kind of like 9 o'clock or dusk, whichever is earlier. And then the question becomes, how do you want?
How do you determine?
The lights turn on. When the street
Street
lights
lights, it's.
You told me if I wouldn't help, I was in trouble.
For,
Right. So I mean, it's what we wanted to kind of narrowly tailor it as close as possible. But I think even though that's, personally, I don't want anybody coming to my door at 9 o'clock. I think 9 o'clock
that's fine.
is generally considered, a lesser restrictive means of allowing, communication.
I don't want anybody coming after 8, but
No,
I mean, it's.
9 o'clock seems late.
it's crazy late. At least for this house. But I mean, I think that's probably,
She might want solar at 9 PM.
Yes.
You might want solar at 9
Yeah,
PM.
who's gonna want to make a decision at 7, 8?
Well, it's on for 30 minutes on solar at 9, yeah.
Or pest control.
You're trying to treat my lawn, I'm gonna turn you away, just. Yeah.
I mean, if we could, there should be not coming in the first place. So.
Right, well,
We can get away with earlier. I would like to go earlier. I said 9 o'clock because.
yeah, I would too. Like I said, 8 seemed like to me like somewhere in the middle, but again, I'm looking at, you know, a case where the court found that, evidence that demonstrates solicitation occurring before 8 p.m. is more invasive than solicitation occurring after 8 p.m. So I mean, it's, the courts have,
How could they say, I mean, my son's now going to bed at 9, but there was, I mean, a good part of his life, he's been 8 o'clock or before.
That's my
well, and you've got people that.
grandkids. Yeah.
Can we ask other cities like that have these specific things? Can we ask them like, hey, has this worked for you? Have you had any pushback? or
Well, it's gonna work for them until they're sued. And even then, like I said, this 9 o'clock, or you could go 10 o'clock, somebody could sue. You know, so I mean, it's easy to be a named defendant. I think regardless of what time you choose.
We just need to have reasoning.
Well, and again, it must be narrowly tailored, supported by articulable facts, which I think is going to be very difficult.
Yes.
We just need to do a study on what time kids go to bed.
Is that a-
And we put that study.
Right.
So can we base it off of another city? Just, you know, I'm
Well, I
thinking.
think so,
This is population similar to ours. I mean, is there any kind of reasonable explanation we can use?
well, it appears to be that the ones they've provided was 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think based on those, I think that, you know, and I think I'm hearing 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock dusk.
That's what I'm saying.
The earlier of the two, that sounds to me like a, somewhat of a meeting in the middle, particularly in the winter when it's dark.
Exactly.
I don't want anybody showing.
I will actually like that because it's,
So we could tailor something like that to be voted on, at the next month, if that's what you guys are inclined to suggest to us. I think that would probably appease them, and maybe it'll be good for, until someone else.
And no soliciting signs are always
Yes.
an option too.
I absolutely, you know,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and you want the research on us doing them, or do you want them to continue to use theirs?
I think we
You
should do.
talked about the speech and that we can't choose, but in the current version, if I'm not wrong, whether you have a sign or not, politicians, churches, all of those can still not.
Correct.
So is that not a discriminatory practice to say solicitors? can't?
Well, it gets a little bit more complicated because now you're dealing with commerce. So in some respects, and I mean, this would be a whole semester of law school. I'm not trying to go down into, but in certain respects,
Private property.
commerce, you can restrict it more so than you can others. But you can't restrict it totally because again, it's still a freedom of speech issue. For whatever, if that helps at all. Then I mean, because we've got separation of, state and church. So I mean, that's where certainly we don't want to say religious organizations can't come and try to convert you. But we certainly can say that, yeah, you can't harass them to buy things, so long as we narrowly tailor it.
Professor Rabel.
For real.
I don't know about.
So can we make a recommendation to base it off of Bella Vista's?
If you want, I mean.
This is 9 to 9.
Okay.
I'd rather do I'd rather have dusk in there. I mean, I think.
The 9 and dusk thing.
9 p.m.
Or whichever's earlier?
Published daily,
They are published daily.
What is?
so you could just use that as your data.
Sunrise and sunset.
Sunlight is a safety concern for our community as well. I don't want children who are usually pushing these products on my streets at night. Or knocking on our doors at night when it's dark.
Yeah,
That's what I associate when it's bedtime.
my son,
So what I'd ask is if the council is inclined for us to prepare an ordinance that says till 9 p.m. or dusk.
Whichever is.
Yes. Whichever's earlier.
Earlier.
Sunset.
Yes. Sunset.
It's defined.
It's defined,
Yes.
okay, exactly.
Yes.
Whichever-
I think 9 a.m. is early enough.
I like that.
9 a.m. is
I
good.
mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, there's no guarantee one way or the other, but I think that's.
Ask you to come forward.
Let's let go.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Dusk is not defined. So dusk is
Right.
not something that we can enforce because there is not a defined.
Said it.
Time.
the sunset is, right?
NOAA has a sunset, has a time, a national oceanic,
It's gonna be sunset.
yada, yada, yada.
That makes more
They
sense.
actually have a designated sunset time for every time zone. So obviously we have to look that up every day. They would have to look that up every day, but it is a defined time. Researching how to handle the no soliciting. There's two ways of doing it. Either you have to establish a time regardless of what repercussions are gonna come out about that time, or two, you have to do away with the times and just have the no soliciting signs. Mandatory if you do not want that to come to your house. So that is the cleanest way of doing it, because then the
May not be
individual
fun.
residents are choosing whether or not if they want to have solicitors coming to their house or not.
And if you don't set a time and they don't have a sign, then that's on them.
Does not matter if it's a city approved, a city provided sign, or if it is a sign that you have. It does not matter if yours is decorated or not. If you have a sign that says no soliciting, you have to abide.
Then there's no possibility that they can sue
So-
us because we don't have anything that states that they,
Right.
oh, well,
Those are the.
that seems more dry.
It does.
Huh?
Would you repeat the whole time issue? Because I get it's kind of
Where the
but I
biggest portion of it comes into being unconstitutional, right?
time comes up.
So you either have to set a time and then just deal with the possibility of having somebody file suit. You cannot go away with that by any means.
Oh.
If you set it at 7, 8, 9, or at sunset, you're putting that restriction on.
So
Way of getting around that is to not have a time restraint. You have to focus solely on having a no soliciting sign at your residence. Because then the individual resident is taking responsibility, saying, I do not want that at my residence.
Yeah. Resistance to the wolf.
I think, I personally, I hear what you're saying. I personally think we need to have a time.
Yes.
I don't necessarily hate people coming to my door. I actually appreciate the fact they're out working. So that's why I don't have a no soliciting sign on my house.
The vast majority of the public does agree with that, but you're going to have the people who don't. And so that is the ones in which you have to deal with. So there's no way around it. So you can set it at 5, you can set it at 9, you can set it at 10 PM. There is always the possibility of somebody saying that is unconstitutional.
I think that, I think that we can narrowly, as you said, give that reasoning if we do sunset as defined by NOAA.
There is no data to support that, like Brian is saying.
There's no data to support any of it, other than the fact that
There's no data to support that argument. So we can make that argument, but there's not the data to support it. I can tell you all day long, if we have it after dark, yes, I get complaints because people are showing up with people in residence after dark. It's arbitrary, it's not, it's anecdotal, because not every one of those do we actually get out there and be able to make contact with somebody. We can have the original CFS and pull that up, but I don't have any contact because people that may not be there anymore. As far as the solicitor themselves.
I just think it should be 9 to 9. It's the time, it's just straight up.
Yeah, but during the winter time.
It's not usually a problem as
Well, but when,
But there's not that many solicitors in the winter.
Correct. It's a summertime thing. The vast majority of it's all done during the warm peak times when everybody is most likely, because there's more people at home during the summer as well. Just because of kids being out of school and all different things. So yes, it happens more in the summertime. So after, if I was gonna put a time restriction on it, I would go to the actual sunset time and let it be at that, because I believe that would be seen as reasonable.
So you suggest that the soliciting sign is the solution. Why don't we make the penalty for violating that more severe than just a citation? You lose your privilege for the city, period. You violate it, you're done.
That is your only safeguard that you have 100% is the sign.
Well, and we could still make that provision in there even with the time.
Correct. And I think that's probably what initiated this, was I think they were issued citations and I think their permit was pulled.
Right.
So they were.
Yes, it was.
That's why they got.
And yes.
And that's what they're wanting reinstated immediately, right?
Things between people having no soliciting signs, being pushy and aggressive after hour. I mean, it wasn't just a single complaint.
I think
We
these
got a
people,
record of that.
I was gonna say, if there's a record that they're doing these things, then we reserve the right to pull their permit. That's not constitutional, is it?
well, I think that's,
If 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 their actions,
Cause that's a safety issue.
let me back it, but it's gotta be supported by articulable data. At that point, so arguably, if we put in place mechanisms to find them or to pull their permit or issue a citation, and our code is found to be unconstitutional, then all that goes away.
I think that's what triggered this, was instead of being
Right.
cited for overlooking the solicitation signs, they got cited for after hours.
They got cited for a violation of the no soliciting ordinance. I mean, there's not a specific provision that says like, if you do this, this is the fine. I mean, it's just the general provisions. Now, you're asking about the groups that are outlined within that. Those are all actually given that exemption by the courts already. So those are the three categories in which don't have to follow.
Excused.
The courts gave that exemption. I felt like there was something that was more than, so the present company that's threatening the lawsuit right now, the police department has cited them, given them citations for violation of the no soliciting sign.
Individual.
The individual, not the company.
Okay,
We can't cite a company. I have to cite an individual.
Has there only been one individual or multiple? Just one?
but it was multiple times.
But I think they pulled the company's permit.
We did, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So was he cited or she cited multiple times?
Yeah, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I have to go back.
I believe so.
Yeah, police are
So
just-
that will be a defense, and I have not done anything on that from, in my capacity as prosecutor. But that would be a defense to them that they were cited with an unconstitutional law.
So can you just restrict the person that person is no longer able to versus the company?
I'm not sure well, no. I think ultimately it's the company that has the permit.
They represent the company.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Wow, I don't feel like there's an easy answer, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm still for the sunset because of the fact I feel like it offers safeguards to families. It offers safeguards, I mean, and it allows for the businesses to go out and solicit. I mean, we're not telling businesses you can't solicit, just have common sense.
Respect.
Come after a start, yeah.
Would I think that would be reasonable? Yes. I think that would be a reasonable expectation for 99% of households, yes. So it's the hard set rules on the time is where we are gonna get into some of the,
So if we say sunset, you're
You
saying.
did 9 a.m. to sunset?
Yeah, I was gonna say 9 a.m.
You have any visibility to the other cities having pushback against them and threats?
That's what I was wondering.
every city is gonna have these letters. I mean, every city.
Have they amended their policies recently?
Reference in a lawsuit.
Are they just good with it and they take?
I'm not aware of if other municipalities have made any modifications at this point.
Most of these other ones all had the 9 o'clock or the dusk, so they're a little later than us.
You have to weigh a balance between what I was saying as far as the restrictions and liberties. You also have to weigh the monetary value in this too, as far as us researching the stickers compared to somebody filing suit is declared unconstitutional. Even if they have a zero damages, we're still paying.
Right. Court costs.
So that's where you guys have to take an all-inclusive broad picture of the situation.
You justifying paying for the stickers versus having to pay for.
Well, it's not, I mean, if you're talking about stickers, I mean, the city could issue stickers, but it could be like trash bags or anything else. Citizens could come and purchase
Yes,
from the city
right.
the stickers. But I'm of the position that the city can have stickers, but other people, if you have a no solicitation sign whatsoever, because quite frankly, the previous stickers, they were ugly. And particularly, I don't want.
Start.
No disrespect to everyone.
Start. It was like I just like.
It's
What?
That's what the ordinance says, either that sticker or the owner supplied. I mean, you can make
Any
it,
sticker, any sign.
so that's my biggest.
I would just say it needs to be placed in we probably need to put some language in there that it's placed in some sort of
We
conspicuous.
would have just use their own stickers, or we really wanted to sell stickers? I mean, I don't know
I
if we
think
can get in that business, they can use their own, but.
Bentonville provides them for their residents.
Provide them.
Then come to City Hall and get them.
See how much it's gonna be.
Yeah, we can explore the
3,000.
cost.
With the sunset rule, it makes the most sense.
The thing is not only do the businesses have,
Does it change?
no, but if you put the responsibility back on the businesses, and then unfortunately with commerce and everything else, and us wanting the right to privacy, you had to put some of the responsibility back on us to provide it, saying, I don't want you here.
Right.
So.
There's accountability on both sides.
Yes, yes.
So, Brian, could that be a reasonable, I'm trying to think of the word you used a second ago, but it's the right to privacy for the homeowner after sunset?
It depends on what the court says.
That ain't
That's the
narrow enough.
problem. I mean, it's certainly that makes sense, what I'm saying, and we could certainly argue that. But it truly is gonna depend on what the.
It's always gonna depend on the court.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's completely up to the court. And like I said, if there was a magic number, this would be easy, but.
Everybody be using it, everybody else be using it.
So would we need to put something in there that says sunset for the right of homeowner privacy, or just leave that out and you, if we get sued?
It doesn't matter what the reasoning is.
I thought you said it had to be a narrow
It
reason.
needs to be narrowly tailored for.
If we're ever sued.
Right.
If we're ever sued, then we have a reasonable,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I mean,
you don't have to put it in the thing, it just.
no, it doesn't have to be in the code, but I think, rest assured that, if we were to end up in litigation, the minutes from this meeting will certainly be, the transcript will be an exhibit.
And it's online recording.
A representative from the Rose Firm is, online currently, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bob Anderson's there. Todd's here. Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we're leaning towards times of 9 AM to sunset.
And then
I would be in favor of that.
me too, and offering a,
Sunrise can be a
Essentially.
little early.
no soliciting sign that you can receive from the city.
And no cost.
I would say no cost.
And then we would,
I think it would cost more to get
probably
them.
even want to articulate sunset as published by
What-
Noah, right, okay.
Which you'll make sure you make those notes, because it's coming to you.
Minutes.
For this, the rest.
It's coming to you.
Watch the replay.
Get it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we all good on us? Go ahead.
I like that,
Go ahead. and
Yes,
Final doing city issue stickers too?
yes.
I mean, the
Yes.
cost is minimal.
yes.
I think we also should add something in there while we're adding rules, is if they violate this, their license can be pulled, have it specifically spelled out.
And then you may want to consider, I mean, what is the fee for it? And is it something?
We might wanna look at, reevaluate the fee.
Fee, yeah.
It's $50 now, we get up to 100. And then they pay.
Get asked
I
to,
mean, really.
throw this out there, I get asked quite often when I get somebody calling me or coming in, they wanna know if they need background checks. There's a lot of cities that do require background checks, and so they don't just get to come in, like it, depending on how many solicitors I have, it could take me 5 minutes, it could take me a half an hour, it just depends. But if they have to have a background check run, then they're held up. So a lot of them, I feel like, come here because we're so lenient.
I mean, that's safety too.
Not out there.
That's something you can do if we get on.
I don't know how that would work, and I don't know like.
I mean, I don't know how that works
exactly
with
How that works.
ACIC.
How's that hold up, Brian?
Well, and I'm trying to think about this as we go. I would like to talk to the other municipalities, see exactly what they've got in there. I love the idea, but again, are we now?
There's gonna be a restriction.
Now, exactly. Are we now discriminating
It
against
would be
individuals?
something that it would be a requirement of the company themselves. I mean, it'd be very similar of us having a tow company and requiring them to have, $1 million liability.
Yeah, I don't think we could
Yeah.
So I would think you'd have to put
prevent a felon from going door to door just by virtue of the.
Like
of their
getting a
felon.
background
Right,
check
yeah.
from.
they'd have to provide some sort of a record showing that they have. It's not something that we can do. I mean, I can't even do a background check on a city employee. So they have to, like, HR has, like, do civilian employees through state police.
There's an online thing they do.
To his point, if you have no soliciting sign, you don't have to worry about anybody coming to your door. I
There
mean,
you go.
But it's still gonna happen. I mean,
it's gonna happen, but they've got.
Oh, then we have in our code, out.
And I think we need to address the minimum fee, $50 is not enough. The amount of our
It's-
time of our police officers spend out
It's
there.
50 for the first person, so when that group of 15 that I had, it was 50 for the first guy and then 5 for everyone after,
$5?
$5.
Oh, no, we need to review that. To review that.
That I don't get into, so.
$50 for the.
We need to
first,
review that.
5 For every after, and we give it to them for free after 60 days if they come back before it expires.
You get what to them for free?
I think, yeah, we need to review all that.
I didn't write it long before I was here.
What do we give for free?
If they come back prior to the 60 days before it expires, we reissue it.
Oh, we reissue it for free.
Free of charge, yes. If it expires, then we start the process all over.
That's
I don't think we
different.
do you any.
How about that, based on the input
I
we've
feel like
got
you
here
guys are really
today, let, me and the mayor and Nicole, we will get together, we will prepare an ordinance. With the times, we'll review the fee structure.
Yes.
And potentially I don't think the penalties are as important as the fees up front.
I
Do you disagree?
because I get 3 out of 4 I see go down my neighborhood, still come to my door and knock, even with my no soliciting.
Okay.
And they ignore it. They, oh, I knocked on your door. I didn't ring your doorbell because I have it right up on my door.
Oh,
So that's
Oh,
the
wow.
90% of the time, that's the excuse they get.
Okay.
So they're getting to the point, they just ignore the signs and they're knocking on the doors.
So we call this man. Hey.
Well, I'm
Call him.
calling you next time, all right?
Yeah, that's easily solved. I mean, especially if we
Says walk around
run that the correct way.
Just walk to your house.
That is easy.
Just walk over.
There's no different, like if you literally have a sign, you go up, there's no difference between that and just violating a speed limit. You have something that's very easily defined. So,
I think multiple offenses, the fee should go up.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
agree too, not
Absolutely.
doubt.
Commissioner, city
I
secretary.
know, yeah, police officers going out
Let me
there.
make sure I got my notes.
Fine.
Yeah, I was getting calls at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
No,
PD at night.
they got other things to do.
Hey, blow on Facebook. With
this time of year,
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah.
We'll work on something and bring it back.
We'll bring it back.
Appreciate you riding.
Is there anything else that we need to do with this?
No, I don't think we do anything else.
Thank you.
He said we bring it, we brought it, we talked about it, we're gonna consider a new
Because
ordinance.
they were wanting.
100%, all the time. I just appreciate Brian's communication.
Oh,
I think what we'll do, we'll put
Let
it.
the record state.
Pull that.
okay.
Hey, Brian, what do y'all think though too, if we pull a license, cause it's gonna happen, you know, we wanna put something in our ordinance that says, you know, if your license is pulled, you can reapply after a 60-day period. Instead of just shutting down for the rest of their life. I mean,
That's up to the council.
well, that's what I'm asking. I guess I'm throwing that to them.
Right.
Oh, 6 months.
Whatever you want.
I mean, if you violate,
That should, yeah, I just wait 2 months.
I know, exactly. So they're coming next year.
There needs to be accountability on it.
Well, and then the question you.
We need to- I just wonder if you want to.
Determination, is it the kid that's going knocked door to door, or is it the company? I mean, ultimately, the company's responsible for the kids, but if these kids are out there making commission on it, they're
Oh, yeah.
working outside the scope of the,
Isn't, I mean,
We should research that one.
okay.
Let's research that part, because I don't know what we can do there.
I just.
Yank-
Maybe less time, but more fees for repeating offenses to
yes.
reiterate, like, we're not gonna
Yes.
take it away, but you're gonna
Yes.
get penalized
We're
more.
not gonna have them come in like one night, there are like 20 calls at once. So I mean, we're not gonna let that happen.
But you also have accountability to the company and who they hire.
That to happen.
No.
That was horrible.
No.
I think we're good. I
Okay.
think we got our instructions. There's no action yet. Bring up discussion. All right, so that brings me to other business. The only other business I have is the chamber reports in here.
Yes, it is.
There it is. You want anything to say on them?
We had an awesome inaugural banquet, if y'all haven't heard that.
Right.
There's been pictures out on Facebook, if you're gonna go check it out. We have 2 events coming up on June the 5th. One is going to be our business brew, 7 a.m. at Evergreen Christian Academy, which is with Wendy.
Christian counseling.
Counseling.
We're in
So-
academy now.
Sorry, it's the future. I'm seeing the future.
You're good, you're good.
Yeah, and then we got a ribbon cutting at Splash Car Wash.
At some point, because I think they changed the date again.
Did they change it again?
June, yeah, right?
To be determined.
I thought they told me the 5th.
I don't think they got a final yet.
I really wanted to go watch my.
I don't know when it is.
All right. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Any other business? Anyone else? That then? Oh, we have a community engagement meeting on May 29th. These good folks will be here if you have any more questions about our project. And with that, would somebody like?
I'm sorry, that's at 5:30?
5:30 PM.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? You can stay.